Republican President George H.W. Bush dismissed the case without prejudice late on Wednesday. The law in question, Senate Bill 4, calls for jailing police chiefs, sheriffs, and possibly frontline officers who failed to cooperate with federal immigration officials. The measure also allows police to ask about immigration status during a lawful detention. After the law was approved in May, the state of Texas sued major urban areas including Austin, El Paso, and Houston, as well as civil rights groups, saying they backed policies of non-cooperation with federal immigration officials. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton said on Wednesday he was disappointed with the ruling on what he called an undoubtedly constitutional law. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
During a curt Skype session earlier this afternoon, local Williamsburg resident 29-year-old Cormac Flanagan reminded his mother to, quote, try and be more careful after she forgot to pay his cell phone bill.
Mom, the phone company called today about my cell phone bill.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I completely forgot.
No, Mom, I'm not mad, but you have to stay on top of these things, you know.
I know,
You can't keep waiting until the last minute like this. Well, I don't want to have to keep reminding you every month. You know, I need my phone. I use it every day. I need my phone. I'm constantly using it.
I'm so bad. I'm really sorry. I'll get on it today.
All right, you know, just so you know, this really easy thing you can do. You know, there's this online auto pay. It just deducts from your bank account every month.
Yeah,
quite easy.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
It's fine. Just don't let it become a pattern. You know, I know you can do better than this.
Okay. I promise. I'll get on it today. Okay.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything that you want. Just dial in toll free, and you can take control of the airwaves here at 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype as well. So Skype on into the show. Skype username LRN.FM, should you wish to do so. We'll talk to you about anything that you want to discuss. With you in the studio tonight, it's me, Ian,
Chris, and Darryl.
And of course, you can bring up anything. We've always bring things in to discuss that we think you're going to find interesting. Coming up tonight, Chris, you're going to be telling us about a television sharing app with some controversy surrounding it. I don't know what you call this thing because I've never actually used it. Or is it a hardware device?
It's actually a repository, a software, like an app store basically for TV add-ons.
An app store for TV add-ons.
And we can certainly talk about what Kodi is. And
Kodi is what it's called.
Kodi's the main app, and there's basically a TV add-ons is a.
This is controversial for some reason. We're gonna.
Yeah, that absolutely.
The government doesn't like this thing.
Well, the entertainment industry definitely doesn't like it.
Which means the government does.
And certainly, the government certainly is by proxy, yeah.
So we'll get into that coming up here in a bit. Also, a freedom of speech issue in our very own New Hampshire with a guy with a very controversial billboard outside of his business ended up in a lawsuit, and he lost. We'll tell you what happened there. If you want to join us again, toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. But, Darryl, there's some, I guess, big news out of a court regarding a Texas sanctuary city law?
Yeah, so earlier in the year, the Texas legislature passed Senate Bill 4 that would wind up possibly putting police chiefs, sheriffs, and beat cops in jail if they did not cooperate with immigration officials in enforcing federal immigration policies. So basically, the Texas legislature, that's majority Republican, surprise, surprise, wanted to basically prohibit what they deemed to be sanctuary cities, which is basically a catch-all term for any jurisdiction that does not comply with every diktat of federal immigration policy.
Because there are kind of different levels of this.
Right.
So some so-called sanctuary cities may go through they may actively try to protect the immigrants there.
Correct.
Others are kind of like our very own Keene, New Hampshire, and Cheshire County, where the Cheshire County sheriff came out, I think it was several months ago now at this point, and Eli Rivera, he announced that his agents would not be going through the federal training, and they would not be be assisting the federal government in any kind of roundups of people.
And they're also not going to actively be looking to see if someone is in the country illegally.
That's correct. They're going to arrest somebody if they commit a crime, but they're
right. And that there's this misconception that sanctuary city, that means that those illegals aren't getting arrested when they go out and rape and pillage. Well, no. Those things are still illegal. Those crimes when they're not busy harassing college girls for having an open container on a sidewalk, right. Those crimes will be investigated and people that commit them will be arrested. But what's not going to be done in at least Cheshire County is when someone is arrested, let's make sure that all of your P's and Q's are dotted and put in the right order.
They're not necessarily going to run an immigration check on somebody just because they arrested them for an open container or whatever.
Right. And they're
not going to help the feds.
There are certain things that again, victimless crime like open container or possession of cannabis. Well, we now have to see if you're in the country legally, and can we deport you for this? And we're going to hold you for 48 hours so the feds can come in and do their own investigation.
But they're not going to do those things here in Cheshire County.
Correct.
At least. And it was also the supposedly the Keene police chief. The previous one held similar viewpoints. Unfortunately, he appears to have committed suicide in the last, several months ago. So we don't have the official position, or at least the last time I saw the news about this, we didn't have the official position of his replacement. But presumably he will follow in his footsteps and also go along with what the county sheriff is doing. So things are all right here in Cheshire County.
Right.
But in Texas, you're saying was they tried to make it so that every Texas law enforcement officer, if the federal government came calling and asked for some sort of assistance with immigration enforcement, that they would have been obligated to provide it. That's
not just that. It makes it sound as though, and I've not read, what Senate Bill 4 was supposed to do if it were to take effect on September 1st, which is when it's scheduled to take effect, pending all of these lawsuits. But the article from Reuters, and we'll actually jump into it, it makes it sound as though the police would be obligated to check the immigration status of everyone that they arrested, whether the feds came in and asked for them to check or not.
Okay, and this is what was overturned. All right, let's hear more about it.
U.S. District Judge in Austin rejected an effort by the state of Texas to have a law that would punish so-called sanctuary cities be declared constitutional. So let me reword this. The state of Texas was defending the law, saying this is constitutional, and the judge said, no, it's not. The Republican-backed law is the first of its kind since Donald Trump became president. Trump promised to crack down on undocumented immigration and localities that protect them. Texas is, of course, the state with the longest border with Mexico. U.S. District Judge Sam Sparks, appointed under Republican President George H.W. Bush, dismissed the case without prejudice late on Wednesday. The brief ruling did not give a reason for the dismissal. Senate Bill 4 calls for jailing police chiefs, sheriffs, and possibly frontline officers who fail to cooperate with U.S. immigration officials. The measure also allowed police to ask about immigration status during a quote-unquote lawful detention.
Allowed. Doesn't say mandated.
Right, but again, there are parts in here to where it sort of implies that you're strongly encouraged to, because how else are we going to know if everybody you interact with is here legally if you're allowed to do this? But we have to know the immigration status.
Well, I mean, if there wasn't any kind of punishment if they didn't do it, then I wouldn't call that a mandate or anything like that. But what were they? So they were obligated to assist the feds, but allowed to do checks.
Right, okay. And again, this allowed to is if you have reasonable suspicion or probable cause to suspect that somebody might not be here. So basically, if they look like they might be Mexican, then run an immigration check. That's basically what this allows.
Which they can't say that.
They can't say it that way.
Right.
But that's basically what this does.
Got it.
The article here continues. After the law was approved in May, Texas sued. The state of Texas went on the offense and preemptively sued Austin, El Paso, Houston, and several other urban areas, as well as civil rights groups saying they backed policies of non-cooperation with federal immigration officials.
So they sued them over that?
That's what the article here says.
Wow.
The state of Texas sued the cities, not the other way around. So it was not Austin suing, saying your law's unconstitutional. It was the state of Texas.
And that's what got their own law thrown
going
out?
on the offense.
And it was, you said civil rights groups in there were sued too?
That's what the article here says.
Wow.
So wait a minute. So they passed this law, and then Texas filed suit preemptively against the cities, expecting them to violate
saying,
the law?
We think you're going to wind up violating the law, so we're going to go ahead and preemptively file a lawsuit.
And is that suit the one that resulted in the law being overturned, or was that a countersuit of some sort?
The article is not entirely clear.
That's interesting. Wouldn't it be funny if their own lawsuits were the thing that got their law thrown out?
I bet you it was, too.
Sadly, the article here from Reuters does not give a case number to make it easy to wind up finding the actual filings. But they continue here. At a June hearing, Sparks asked why a court should declare the law constitutional before it took effect on September 1st. He also questioned why he should hear the case when most of the parties were part of a separate lawsuit over the same law being heard in a federal court in San Antonio. So it sounds as though this suit was the one filed by the state of Texas.
All right, we're going to continue
There's
here.
more.
You can bring up whatever you want, whether you want to comment on immigration or whatever's on your mind. 855-450, free like freedom. Free Talk Live.
Ew, get the stinky dog away from me. Bad breath and bad gas. Petey stopped eating. All his hair fell out.
Itching, licking, missing fur.
At least $5,000 in vet bill. Creams, antibiotics, sprays.
No results.
Everything we tried failed except the Dinovite. DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids. Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa. The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The shedding is stopped and the itching is stopped.
Her coat is now soft, it's silky, it's healthy and shiny and glossy.
She's got life. She's got energy.
Tons of energy, no more bad smells.
Dinovite's the bomb.
Dinovite is the best thing that's ever happened to my dogs, besides me, of course.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
Dinovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
And membership is only $9.95.
Yep. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Because we are smothering in spam, please do not reply to all when you can instead reply. I was recently among over 100 invited to a corporate reunion. It's always a warm affair, and that's the problem. Enthusiasm for our upcoming get-together caused many recipients to RSVP the organizer with a cheery reply to all. I can't wait. Then others piled on with a reply to all to that. Then the "I'm out of my office now" autoresponders joined in. So I replied to all, asking that we all reply only to the organizer. Hey, at least I tried. One invitee, apparently retired, shot back, "Point taken, but I really like seeing the responses since they're so positive." Smiley face. This better be an open bar. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu 641-793-9660. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can dial in toll-free to bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype as well, so feel free to Skype into the show at Skype username LRN.FM. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Chris,
and Darryl.
Hey, how would you like to help build a better financial system for everyone? You can join Dash. Dash is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, private, and easy. Fees are low, a lot lower than Bitcoin, by the way. And transactions are fast and can even be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is decentralized and run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. So join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today. You can find out more at Dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. So go to Dash.org and find out why. Darryl, you're going to tell us more about this case coming up here in moments about the sanctuary city law.
Yes.
That is being overturned or has been overturned by a federal court. Was it federal court that did this?
Federal court in Austin, Texas.
In Texas. We're going to tell you more about that on the way. But first, let's go to the phones. To the phone, Leonard in Los Angeles. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian, Chris, and Darryl. Hello?
Am I on the air?
You're on the air, Leonard. Go ahead.
So, nigger.
All right. You can't say that on the radio. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. So, Darryl, sorry to interrupt you for that. Go ahead with the story here about a law in Texas that would have obligated Texas law enforcement to obey the federal government even more so when it comes to immigration investigations.
Right, and I actually pulled up the text of the law of what got passed because, some of the reporting makes it sound as though, does it require the law enforcement officers to check the immigration status? Does it not require? What it actually says is that no local entity or campus police department may prohibit or materially limit a person who is a commissioned peace officer, booking officer, corrections officer, district attorney, etc., from inquiring about the immigration status of a person under quote-unquote lawful detention or arrest.
So it doesn't create an obligation. It creates a cutout for an employee of a department who wants to enforce the federal law without the department's express permission to do so.
It says that none of these people can
be
prohibit or materially limit the whatnot. So
it says the department cannot prohibit those people. So if there's what it's saying is if there's an individual agent who's like, well, my department says we're a sanctuary city and we're going to leave these immigrants alone, but I want to enforce the federal law, they're saying it would allow that person to do that against the policy of the department.
Kind of. And again, like the wording of think it's really tricky of, how are they going to interpret this? But
well, apparently the judge interpreted it as unconstitutional and threw it out.
Right. So getting back into the article, again, the state of Texas preemptively sued major urban areas, including the cities of Austin, El Paso, and Houston. They also sued civil rights groups, saying that they backed policies of non-cooperation with federal immigration officials.
Where's the standing for suing a civil rights group over this?
I don't know. At the June hearing, again, the judge asked why the court should declare the law constitutional before it even took effect. He also questioned why he should hear the case when most of the parties were part of a separate lawsuit over the same law that was being heard in a federal court in San Antonio.
So they had already sued.
Correct. So the cities had countersued after being sued. And those cases were consolidated into a single case being heard in San Antonio, this case being heard in Austin. The defendants, again being the cities and civil rights groups, contended that they had abided by federal law and that the suit should be dismissed because Texas had no evidence showing that anyone had actually violated the law. Republican Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton said on Wednesday he was disappointed with the ruling on what he called an undoubtedly constitutional law. The ACLU, which argued
apparently there was some doubt.
The ACLU was one of the groups arguing the case on Thursday, said the Texas suit was a farce aimed at distracting attention from the harm that would come with Senate Bill 4. Edgar Saldivar, a senior staff attorney with the ACLU of Texas, said in a statement, "This is a significant blow to the state, and its legal posturing has only resulted in wasted taxpayer money."
Sounds like it.
The federal case in San Antonio, they say a small border town and some of the largest Texas cities told a judge in June that SB 4 could lead to an immigration police state and establish illegal racial profiling. They asked the court to halt the law, saying it's unconstitutional. And this is what I was alluding to, of when you have these sorts of policies of you're allowed, kind sir, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, to check on the immigration status of everybody that you have a lawful encounter with, it's going to result in everybody that looks a little darker than me winds up getting one of these checks.
Right.
Where are your papers? Where's your passport, sir?
Right, because there wouldn't be a requirement to enforce it across the board. It would just allow that individual to make individual decisions about that, and if that individual decided to stop everybody who is brown and ask them those, those questions, then that would be allowed under that law. Whereas at least when they're doing, and I'm not defending these things, but at least when they're doing, interdictions or checkpoints or whatever, they have to have every so number of cars, every fourth or fifth or whatever that they have to stop. Again, I'm completely against checkpoints, but that's how they try to make it look like they're not doing racial profiling. In this case, there would be no such requirement on them to do that.
And again, it uses the term in the law lawful detention, which again is one of these sort of weird catch-all terms, because we know under federal court precedent they can do what's called a Terry stop.
That's right.
To where you're just being detained temporarily to where we can make sure because you fit the description. We've got to make sure that there's no weapons or anything. So anything could be used as justification for a quote-unquote lawful detention. Anything.
Pretty much. Yeah, they've got all kinds of catch-alls that they can come after you for if that's what they want to do.
Yeah. So that's the Reuters article, but I've pulled something up from CW39. It goes into a little bit more. The Attorney General, again, Paxton, originally filed the suit against the city of Austin. Travis County Sheriff Sally Hernandez.
That's the Austin County, right? Travis, I think.
Austin is in Travis County, yes.
Okay.
And the Mexican-American Legal Defense and Education Fund, shortly after Senate Bill 4 was signed into law. The lawsuit was an end-run effort by Paxton to try to get a court to rule SB 4 constitutional before other rulings on the law could be put into place.
All right, you can share your thoughts here, whether it's on immigration or whatever's on your mind. Still to come, we got this TV controversy with the Kodi app thing or whatever it is. I still don't know what it is. I'm going to have to look it up because Chris is going to be talking about that on the way. You can bring up whatever you want as well and take control of the airwaves here on Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Ralph, remember when you said you were going to start paying more attention to your health and now you're eating potato chips?
Just a few.
A few, okay, but you should be eating Superberry's Aronia berries.
Aronia what?
Aronia berries from superberries.com. They're known for having one of the highest levels of antioxidants that helps with overall wellness. Go to superberries.com/radio. And right now we get a free smoothie recipe book with our order. Plus we can save $4 at checkout.
Wow, look at all the benefits of these berries.
I know, Ralph, I know.
Choose health. Eat purple. Superberries.com.
Free Talk Live.
You can tell by the way they're dressed, by their demeanor, that these are illegal. Okay. Do you understand that they bring in leprosy and tuberculosis?
Oh, God, here's the leprosy. Show me the news story about leprosy and not some crackpot website.
Do you understand this is our country and this is about our children?
Wait, stop the jingoistic crap. You're picking and choosing. You're saying that a bunch of murdering, raping lepers are coming across the border.
Oh, yes, they are.
No, that's nuts, Trish. If that was the case, then in fact we would all know about it. I mean, it sounds like the Night of the Living Dead down there at the border, and they're just coming across looking for the brains.
You think CNN and Fox News is going to tell you this? You got another thing coming.
Why wouldn't they? It'd be great for ratings.
By design, it's meant to bring this country.
Oh, now there's a conspiracy behind it, right? You're going to tell me the NWO's behind all this?
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You dial in, take control of the airwaves if you want. You can bring up anything you want. Our toll-free number here is 855-450 free like freedom. We're talking court decisions. We get the one out of Texas overturning a sanctuary city law that it's hard to say that and express what you mean. A law that would would essentially make it more difficult to have a sanctuary city that was overturned.
Would basically make it illegal to have a sanctuary city in Texas by preventing some sort of policy that says, no, you're not allowed to check the immigration status of every individual that you detain.
Yes.
It doesn't require you to check the immigration status of everyone you detain.
But it would allow an individual agent.
It would punish you if the feds called you up and said, we have reason to believe that there's somebody that we want in your facility. Hold everybody for 48 hours, and you did not hold everybody for 48 hours, then you could be punished.
Oh, I didn't catch that part of it.
Oh, that's part of the federal immigration. If they say, we think you've got somebody that we want for immigration stuff.
I see.
You're required to hold them for 48 hours. If you want to be in compliance with federal law, and then there's the argument that, states can't be compelled to comply with federal laws.
And I hope that they can't be. I mean, we've certainly seen examples of state governments like our very own New Hampshire that has refused, for instance, to obey the federal government on seatbelt laws.
Right. There's, this
But in that case, it's
concept-
money that's on the table to
Right.
bribe them.
But with the immigration stuff, it's basically an unfunded mandate, if you
Right.
want to even call it that, to where they're not necessarily saying you have to do this, but they're largely implying we want you to do this. And, now Jeff Sessions and Donald Trump saying we're going to withhold federal grants for everybody that doesn't do exactly what we want in
Then I
regards
think we
to
should
immigration.
withhold any kind of state contributions, IRS monies to the federal government. I think that if the feds want to withhold money, that's fine. The state should also withhold money from the federal government in the first place. Meaning that
because in theory, because the federal government was created by the states, in theory, the federal government is subservient then to the states.
Right, but they don't act that way.
But that's not how it's playing out.
Well, I feel like, Darryl, that the reason why it doesn't play out that way is because the politicians at the state level don't have any cojones. They don't have. I mean, politicians are notorious for not having a spine, and certainly they don't have a spine when it comes to going up against the federal government for the most part. So we very rarely see this. We did see it with the Real ID that happened back in 2007, where a few states, including New Hampshire, looked like they had a spine for a moment and stood up to the federal government and said, we're not going to do this unfunded mandate. But ultimately, that was only because the feds didn't fund that. If the feds had funded it, then they probably would have done it.
Right, but now almost every state has, wound up complying, even though there are a couple of states that allow you to either opt in or opt out. I believe New Hampshire is an opt-in state
for the Real ID?
For the Real ID compliant driver's license.
Ooh, I feel like
I believe it's opt-in.
Are you sure about that? Because I feel like that law that recently came out was you could opt out of it.
I thought it was opt-in.
I wonder about that.
But in either case...
Yeah, you might be right. I think I opted out. I had to opt out.
But in either case, there is an option.
In New Hampshire.
New Hampshire and a handful of other states.
Yeah, put that in quotes, though, because you try going to an airport or a federal building or something like that, and they'll deny you, theoretically.
Well, supposedly, but that keeps getting pushed back.
Right.
The feds
That's
keep
not
pushing
in effect yet.
True.
And it's been pushed back and pushed back.
Pushing it back. But again, if you, don't want to use a federal facility, then there are benefits and whatnot to one way or the other. But one way you could get around that is if you have a passport, but you don't want the Real ID compliant driver's license.
Right.
Show the passport when you go to the airport. Show the passport when you go to the federal building. But then there's
I'm not really sure that's getting around it, though. I mean, they're still forcing you to get an ID of some kind.
Right, but it's not tying your driver's license into that central database.
That's true.
So, you're kind of doing an end run around the thing to still be able to, get the benefits, if you will, of having the Real ID compliant ID without actually having your driver's license in that central database.
I don't know. I definitely don't intend to use my, anything other than my driver's license that's not
You mean to fly?
compliant to fly. Yeah. They'll have to, they'll have
to get you special search. I'm with you, man.
But even if you don't, and this is, another misconception about flying, if you don't have a driver's license or any kind of ID,
you can still fly, supposedly.
You can still get through security. You have, a get to know you meeting with a TSA agent.
Our former co-host Sam Dodson went through security multiple times just to prove that was the case.
The TSA even has it on their website.
Really?
If you don't have ID, here's what happens.
Okay, that's interesting because I had wondered if they'd changed the rules on that. Because back when Sam was on the show, it was 4 or 5 years ago now at this point. And so we'd wondered if the rules had tightened up or anything like that. And nobody really ever wants to take the time to do it because we're always in a rush at the airport. So it's like we haven't bothered to experiment with that.
I never go through the scanners, and I always have to show up like 3 hours early in order to make sure I catch my plane.
Really?
Yeah, because I actually need the 3 hours. Like most of the time, you could really get away with 2 hours, but I actually make sure we show up 3 hours because if we don't, and they have held us long enough where it could be a problem if we hadn't given.
If you hadn't,
right,
okay.
right. But in reality, if I just went through and cooperated in quotes unquotes, it would have been in the past.
Yeah, I was frustrated when we were coming back from an Acapulco, coming back from Mexico earlier this year. The planes were too close to it was a late flight, and so it was too close for comfort at the I think it was Houston where we flew into. So coming back from Mexico, and I normally don't go through the scanner thing.
Oh,
normally,
shit. Did you go through it?
Normally I opt out, but this time it was so close to take, I was almost going to miss the flight, so I had to. It would have been too long to wait because half the time when you opt out of that scanner thing, they're like, opt out, and then you stand there for 10 minutes sometimes waiting for some bureaucrat to show up.
Yep.
Usually it's no more than 3 to 5 minutes, but it's still a long wait, and I didn't have that time to spare. So that was the one time I've ever gone through that scanner.
I do it a lot, and it varies. Sometimes it's
you opt out or go through
quick.
the scanner thing.
Opt out. I always opt out. So I mean, relatively, and it's gotten worse. So that used to be where some places didn't have it, so it wasn't even an issue. But now everybody, it seems like every airport has
a scanner.
Yeah, and so I always have to opt out now, and it's definitely
a time. It eats at your time.
Yeah, it can take up to half an hour. I would say.
Really? That's the longest you've waited?
Maybe even longer than that. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
In some cases. Other times it's 15 to 20 minutes. But
normally you have to wait as your stuff has gone down the conveyor belt and it's just sitting there. And of course, you're not actually near it. So if somebody wants to go over there and lift your wallet or something like that out of the bin, you would have a tough time, seeing it. And so the longer you stand there, the more people, the more strangers are walking by all your stuff, and it's a little nerve-wracking.
The best part about that is they tell you to keep your eye on your stuff, but then they put you in a place where you can't keep your eye on your stuff, and it's and then if you actually follow their order of moving and moving in order to see it, they'll start yelling at you. It's like, wait a minute, you told me to keep an eye on my stuff. I can't follow that order and this order of staying here if you're telling me to. So yeah, it's interesting.
So I'm on the TSA's website right now where it talks about ID. It says in the event you arrive at the airport without valid identification, you may still be allowed to fly. The TSA officer may ask you to complete a form to include your name and current address, and may ask additional questions to confirm your identity. If your identity is confirmed, you will be allowed to enter the screening checkpoint. You may be subject to additional screening. So if they cannot confirm your identity and you choose not to fill out the form, then they'll reject you.
Ah, okay.
So that's interesting because that's a denial of your rights at that point.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about a form. I don't think Sam had to fill out forms back in 2010.
Well, it says they may ask you. It doesn't say they will.
Sure. I can't imagine why they wouldn't, but the toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. I'm just saying maybe they came up with that within the last few years. 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves, and you can bring up whatever's on your mind here. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try at dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Simbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Simbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, the Mineral Doctor. You've heard me talk about 90 for Life for years. 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 fatty acids. You may not know this, that I've actually designed Arthrodex for animals. That's right. Your pets need 90 for Life too. Get this essential pet product by calling 877-279-9422. That's 877-279-9422. Again, 877-279-9422.
Are you retired or facing retirement and you're afraid your income is going to be less than you'd like? I'm Pharmacist Keith. Dr. Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy, and I want to show you a low-cost way to create your own business working around your current schedule, creating extra income that will last for years to come by joining Dr. Wallach's crusade, spreading his message of better health. To learn more, visit radio.recordedvideo.com. That's radio.recordedvideo.com, radio.recordedvideo.com, or call 866-257-3105 for a recorded message.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial in toll free. Bring up anything you want. Our number here for you is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We got court cases we are talking about here tonight. Everything from sanctuary cities to controversial electronic signs to the Kodi app, which we're about to get into here. You're welcome, of course, to take control of the airwaves. 855-450-FREE, like freedom. You know, you don't need money to do business on Simbi.com. It's a slick and easy-to-use marketplace where you can trade your talents for other people's services and abilities. You can forget the old economy. This is your economy. Simbi.com. You won't believe the diversity of services on Simbi.com. Hundreds of thousands of people are acting within the symbiotic economy. So go get your account at Simbi.com. S-I-M-B-I. Simbi.com. Take a look around and post your services. Again, that's Simbi.com. So let's get into this story here about Kodi, which is spelled Kodi. That's some kind of a TV app that allows you to have add-ons. I've never tried this. Chris, have you actually used the Kodi app?
Yes.
Okay.
So what Kodi is it's basically
it's for a desktop computer, right, or like a laptop?
Not necessarily. It's there's all sorts of devices that will run Kodi.
Okay.
And basically it's like it's viewing software. It'll watch streaming content online, or even just content stored on your computer or on a NAS device. On a
what device?
A NAS, network area storage device.
So I see it's downloadable at Kodi.tv for Windows, Linux, Mac OS, Android, Raspberry Pi, iOS, and other. So you're saying it's also so in addition to the software that you can download, there are people who are making like hardware, Raspberry Pis or whatever out of this kind of thing.
Yeah, there's also if you've ever heard of I think it's called the Fire Stick.
I've heard of that. Isn't that Amazon?
Yeah, it's Fire Stick. It's one of the very popular things that people run Kodi on, and it's basically just this cheap little computer that you plug into a computer, and a television, and it will allow you to stream content. Now, the default
from Amazon Prime,
presumably from Amazon and other Netflix, maybe, and some other legal sources. Okay. Well, these
I didn't know that Amazon would allow you to have Netflix. I didn't know. I figured they were in competition.
I'm not entirely sure.
Actually. I know Amazon does allow you to add on things
to the Fire Stick.
Yeah, so like you can add on apps.
I see.
Yeah, I would never use the software, that their software, so I don't know, and I certainly wouldn't buy a Fire Stick anyway, even for use with Kodi. But basically, what people do, one of the things that's been very common is that people, companies, they would buy up huge quantities of Kodi sticks, and they would replace the software with on the device from Amazon software with
they'd buy Fire Sticks and replace it with Kodi.
Right, they replace it with Kodi, exactly. And then they sell these, and one of the things they do is they advertise them as fully loaded.
Does Amazon like that very much?
No.
I suspect they don't.
Amazon has banned them. eBay has banned them.
Wow.
The enforcement appears to be fairly weak.
And they call them what? When they
fully loaded.
Fully loaded.
Yeah, they call them fully loaded. And basically what that means is that there's these add-ons. So there's these add-ons for Kodi that allow you to stream basically from unauthorized sources. Is I guess the best way I would phrase it.
So like somebody who, let's say they want to watch a Major League Baseball game, and normally there's all kinds of restrictions on where those things can be seen. These companies try to lock those sporting events down hardcore.
Yeah.
But somebody might have like a DirecTV subscription, and then they are feeding that into an internet streaming encoder,
and then it rebroadcasts
and they're illegally rebroadcasting that.
Right.
Are you saying that the Kodi
of the Kodi add-ons
may be able to receive those things?
Some of the Kodi add-ons will allow you to access that type of content. That's called IPTV, which is Internet Protocol TV, basically. And I'm not 100% certain on that, but I'm like 95% certain that there's an add-on to do that for Kodi.
All right.
Anyway, so basically, there's now you could potentially download add-ons from any random website, but there's something called like an app store basically for Kodi specifically, and there may be an app store that's in Kodi itself, but you can also add on third-party app stores. And so what this goes back to this article about what basically what we're talking about is there's this add-on repository or app store that's called TV Add-ons, and TV Add-ons basically hosts all sorts of add-ons, and some of them maybe most of them are legal. 99% of them are legal, but 1% of them are not. They're and when
That's
I say
the fun part,
illegal, basically what this is
so like sports,
whether or not they're legal or not is actually up for debate, but the 1% I'm talking about.
So what kind of stuff are you going to find in the 1%? Like sports channels? Are they going to have like major cable networks sort of illegally rebroadcast, like TNT,
yes, absolutely.
AMC,
yes,
things
absolutely.
like that?
Sky, that's a UK channel, I guess, in the UK. But yeah, basically all of that. So there'll be some add-ons that might allow you to do that. Other add-ons will allow you to stream from basically servers like they've got TV shows.
Now I've seen people trying to stream these things not over the Kodi app, but just generally these
over the internet,
these illegally streamed IPTV channels, and they're mostly unreliable from what I've seen.
There
so
are
I don't know how good
commercial
this
services that are superior to cable television offerings.
Whose commercial services?
There are companies that sell devices, probably Kodi, and with their apps, and they offer commercial IPTV services. And they
really,
yes, and they've been shut.
So this isn't just some kid with a video encoder card.
No, this is commercial operating.
Where are they operating
thousands
from?
and thousands and thousands of customers.
Some jurisdictions where intellectual property laws don't.
I think was they operating in Italy? It was in Europe somewhere.
So are they like pulling down satellite channels and re-encoding them?
Yep, and rebroadcasting them.
Completely illegally?
Yeah, completely illegally. I mean, yeah, it's certainly a violation.
Wow.
There's no question about it.
But they're charging for it.
Oh, yeah, they're charging for it. And,
so do these Kodi add-ons allow you to pay this company? Because it doesn't sound like it's free.
No, they don't. So presumably there's some sort of commercial subscription service that's tied into that. One of these add-ons.
I see. You've never gotten that deep into it, or
I haven't. I don't subscribe to any of these services. Right. Personally, I won't go into what I do or don't do. But
yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
No, I've not done that. My information comes mainly from an awesome site called Torrent Freak.
Yeah, they've always got some interesting
They're very,
stuff.
very good about reporting. It's probably some of the best reporting I've seen outside
especially
of
on like intellectual property and
so they're
all
about file sharing and peer-to-peer
networks.
So what's the actual story about this Kodi other than it exists and there's a bunch of things?
Right. Now that we understand what we're talking about. So basically what happened in Canada is that TV add-ons was run by this guy, Mr. Lackman, I'll say, because I don't remember his first name.
Okay.
But Mr. Lackman basically operated the app store, okay, this third-party app store for Kodi. And in this app store, there were certain add-ons that enabled people to basically... he didn't host any illegal content.
They enabled people to.
Add-on enabled people to access or make it easier to stream content from sites that were hosting such content.
Got it.
So basically what happened is the entertainment, and also I'm just going to kind of over broadly say this, because there's a bunch of different entities that got involved on this, but a bunch of companies within the entertainment industry got together and they said, we're going to sue this guy. And the way they went about it is very different. Normally you bring a lawsuit, somebody might be ordered to provide evidence or something to that effect. Well, one of the things that happened here is they got basically a secret order. And instead of, going and giving this guy an order to surrender this information, they basically got an order that allowed them to enter his premises, enter his property, and seize it such that he cannot essentially destroy evidence. That's the argument for this. And I will... Let's see here. So that's called in Canada. This is called an Anton Pillar order,
where they go in and they seize his property.
Yeah,
and he has to just stand there and watch. It sounds like a standard search warrant.
Yeah, it's basically it's kind of like the police coming in a criminal case, but this is not a criminal case. This is a civil case, and that's what makes it so interesting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That is different.
Oh yeah, and so but there's all sorts of conditions. Like you can't just go in on a fishing expedition and do this. There's certain restrictions on the party that's going in to basically seize the evidence.
Okay.
And basically what happened is they completely violated this order, and their objective was, and I think admittingly, from what I understand, was to basically shut the guy down, shut his business down.
Yeah,
and,
obviously. I mean, that's generally how it goes. Even if they don't expect to win later on, if they can just destroy the man's business and his cash flow or whatever it is that he had coming in, then they've done their job. They've stopped the so-called threat to the intellectual property holdings of the Motion Picture Industry Association or whoever it was that was behind this. You're going to tell us more about it coming up here in moments. And if you've got experience with the Kodi box and you want to kind of let us know what it's like, you can let us know at 855-450-FREE like freedom. It's Free Talk Live.
Have you ever thought about mining Bitcoin? Did the costs, constant equipment upgrades, and maintenance scare you off? Do you want to make Bitcoin every day in the same mining pool that Ian and I do? Pool.bitcoin.com. There's a 100% uptime guarantee. The website's easy to use, and you can calculate what you're going to make right there on the website at pool.bitcoin.com. Help steer Bitcoin towards the liberating currency that Satoshi Nakamoto meant it to be. I'm not just making money at pool.bitcoin.com. I'm doing activism while I sleep. Pool.bitcoin.com. What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com. We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io. Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, August 11th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.07 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,286 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.2 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,535. Antiwar.com reports, faced with growing criticism of the human rights toll in the Yemen war, the Saudi Arabia-led coalition attacking the country issued a statement calling for the United Nations to assume control of the Sana'a airport, allowing flights to and from the capital city. Lack of access to the airport, which has been closed for over a year, has been a growing concern, with Yemen's health ministry suggesting that the closure of the airport likely led to the deaths of 10,000 civilians, either from importing aid or allowing patients to travel abroad for treatment. The Saudi naval blockade of the country has caused a humanitarian catastrophe, particularly in the country's Shiite-dominated north, as they have only one port and ships are rarely allowed to deliver aid to that port. The airport would be an important alternate supply route, though UN planes have been unable to travel there for quite some time because the lack of fuel left in Sana'a means planes that land delivering aid would not have enough fuel to make a return trip. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. UPI reports Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards on Thursday declared a state of emergency for New Orleans in the event that the state might help the city deal with flooding in the coming weeks. Governor Edwards issued the order during a midday news conference with New Orleans Mayor Mitch Landrieu. He said the declaration is retroactive, running from August 5th to September 3rd. Edwards said, "If we get the heavier expected rainfall, time will be of the essence. We're working well together. Obviously, this is a serious situation, but it is not something to be panicked about. out. The governor issued the order after a fire at a sewage and water board plant impeded the city's ability to handle floods. Earlier Thursday, several top city officials in New Orleans lost their jobs after a historic rainstorm caused the city to flood, despite promises that the city's pump system could handle such a deluge. Scenes eerily reminiscent of Hurricane Katrina unfolded last week in New Orleans when the rainstorm dumped upwards of 10 inches of rain in 3 hours, flooded streets, homes, and businesses. Initially, Sewage and Water Board Superintendent Joe Becker told CBS News the city's pumps were working at full capacity, but he was later forced to retract that statement. Instead, he clarified the city's pumps were working to their full potential given the number that were operational when the storm hit. Of the 121 pumps in the city, 20 were out of commission and one station worked at barely 50% capacity. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports a U.S. district judge in Austin, Texas, has rejected an effort by the state of Texas to have a law that would punish so-called sanctuary cities be declared constitutional ahead of the measure taking effect next month. The Republican-backed law is the first of its kind since Donald Trump became president in January, promising a crackdown on undocumented immigrants and localities that protect them. U.S. District Judge Sam Sparks, an appointee of former Republican President George H.W. Bush, dismissed the case without prejudice late on Wednesday. The law in question, Senate Bill 4, calls for jailing police chiefs, sheriffs, and possibly frontline officers who fail to cooperate with federal immigration officials. The measure also allows police to ask about immigration status during a lawful detention. After the law was approved in May, the state of Texas sued major urban areas including Austin, El Paso, and Houston, as well as civil rights groups saying they backed policies of non-cooperation with federal immigration officials. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton said on Wednesday he was disappointed with the ruling on what he called an undoubtedly constitutional law. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
In addition to creating a Twitter account, Pope Benedict XVI plans to further connect with Christian youth by giving up on Catholicism. Quote, in order to really relate to modern teens, he needs to make religion a much smaller part of his busy life, just like they do. And it's already working. Tweets like, can someone go to church for me, LOL, hashtag sleeping in, have been retweeted over 1 million times by lazy Catholic teens, while tweets like, if God was real, how come there's so much murder, and I'm still Catholic, I just don't go to church or believe in Jesus, have been especially successful with college students who are questioning the church's teaching.
It's really cool to see that the Pope is as active on social media and as skeptical about God as I am. Look, he just tweeted, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. That's totally how I feel.
Pope Benedict's aides say his next project involves reaching out to Muslims by sitting down with Islamic leaders and proclaiming his undying allegiance to Allah.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. You are invited to join us on the radio here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Chris,
and Darryl.
We're talking about some interesting court decisions coming up. One about what looks on its face like a freedom of speech case about a billboard and some controversial statements. That's on the way. But right now, we're talking about Kodi. It's KODI.TV. It's not a sponsor of the show or anything like that. It's a television app that allows for add-ons, that the add-ons may or may not allow you to access content that may be illegal. And there's a website that offers some of these add-ons, and that was called TV Add-ons. Is that right, Chris?
TV add-ons. Yeah, TV add-ons is the software repository or app store, so to speak.
Right. So there's the Kodi TV thing is sort of the software which is also put on certain hardware, like TV box sort of things you can plug into your TV and you can use it to watch all kinds of legal stuff. So the Kodi TV, they don't necessarily approve of the fact that these illegal add-ons exist, but they don't do anything to try to stop them from like working with the Kodi setup.
No, they don't. Now you have to understand, Kodi is basically it's a free software app. It's an open source app, so anybody can fork it or
right. So
do what they want.
Even if the Kodi people decided to go in there and lock down their version, somebody else already has the code and they're going to release.
I'm sure there's already forks of it somewhere, so there's nothing that they're really going to
cat's out of the bag, so to speak, on this. And so there was a lawsuit in Canada against the guy who runs the add-ons.
No.
Oh,
yes, the add-on site, right? So not the add-ons. He hasn't developed the add-ons. He doesn't,
he just
hosts them, basically, right? Yeah. So yeah, and basically because he hosts them, I mean, this is kind of like going after Google because you can find illegal stuff through Google search, right? I mean, this is ridiculous. All right, let me actually.
And the motion picture folks and recording industry people came in with a lawsuit.
Yeah, so let me actually read a little bit because this is I can't even begin to say word it right such that you're gonna just this is just unbelievable what happened. So all right, so following the filing of the complaint on June 9th, the federal court handed down a time-limited interim injunction against Lackman, which restrained him from various activities in respect to TV add-ons. The process took place ex parte, meaning in secret, without Lackman being able to mount a defense. The court also authorized a bailiff and computer forensics expert to take control of internet domains, including tvaddons.ag and offshore.com, plus social media and hosting provider accounts for a period of 14 days. These were transferred, so they basically shut his business down. These were transferred to Daniel, somebody at somebody.
Was this a business?
It's an independent court-appointed supervising counsel.
Was he charging for these downloads?
I'm not sure. Certainly, the programs like Exodus were not, which is one of the apps that were certainly allowed you to stream illegal content or infringing content or whatnot.
Okay.
Certainly, that app was not being charged for. I don't know if there were commercial apps also available through this app store. There may or may not have been. Certainly, like a distribution or a Linux operating system has like Debian does not offer any kind of commercial apps in their app store. But so it could have been like that, or it might be more like Amazon's app store that you might add to like Android.
It looks like it's. I presume you're talking about tvaddons.co, which is the first result that comes up here. It appears that they're just giving stuff away and then asking for donations.
Yeah, that's not. That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
Yeah,
in this space.
Yeah, I mean, they might be doing advertising on the site, or there's various business models.
They're taking Bitcoin.
So this was certainly a business that this guy ran, I believe.
Okay.
Anyway, so this order also contained an Anton Pillar order, a civil search warrant that grants plaintiffs no notice permission to enter a defendant's premise in order to secure and copy evidence to support their case before it can be destroyed or tampered with.
The plaintiffs themselves.
Yep, the plaintiffs themselves. Basically,
that means that the Recording Industry Association could then go into
people who have an interest against you. They're your adversary. Can go in.
Wow.
And seize your evidence. Seize whatever they say is evidence, basically. So any kind of computers or whatnot. And basically, the order said they could take anything they want.
And those plaintiffs being, I pulled up a little bit more info. Bell Canada, Bell Express
major communications company,
Bell Media, Videotron, Group TVA, Rogers Communications, and Rogers Media.
Yeah, Bell and Rogers are both two of the major wireless providers up there as well. They're big telecommunications.
Yeah, they might. I thought they were cable internet too.
Maybe too.
Yeah,
they
they're huge. I know that in Canada. The order not only the order covered not only data related to TV add-ons platform, such as operating and financial details, revenues, and banking information, but everything in Lackman's possession. The court ordered the telecoms companies to inform Lackman that the case against him is a civil proceeding and that he could deny entry to his property if he wished. Oh, this is really interesting. This is what's going to blow your mind. However, that option would put him in breach of the order and would place him at risk of being fined or even imprisoned. Catch-22 springs to mind.
So let me see if I've got this clear. This order, this special, what was it, Alfred order? What was it?
It's something pillar.
Okay, well, whatever it was. This special
Anton
order.
Pillar.
Anton Pillar.
Yep, that's what they call it.
This order allows the plaintiff to come to your place, whatever the location is.
Yep,
go through
people
your
suing
stuff,
you.
take whatever it is that they think is relevant to their case.
Yep.
But if he has the right to say no, you can't come in. But if he does that, then there may be consequences.
Yeah, the consequences are fine or jail time.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's not really an option. Like,
no,
you have an option between us kicking you in the head or us punching you in the groin. That's your option.
That was a pretty bad choice.
Yeah. And remember, he never had the opportunity to go and argue a case of why they shouldn't be allowed to just come in and seize his property.
Right.
That's
It's
what
ex parte.
That's what you said. Right. That's why they call it an Anton Pillar order, because a normal order would not have done that. They would have given him a subpoena, I believe, and then he would have had to hand over that computer or whatever it is.
Or whatever they specifically wanted.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But they do this
Wow.
the theory is that this prevents people from destroying evidence, basically.
Okay.
All right. So
even though the destruction of evidence is its own criminal offense.
Right. The court did, however, put limits on the number of people that could be present during the execution of the Anton Pillar order, ostensibly to avoid intimidation, and ordered the plaintiffs to deposit $50,000 Canadian with the court in case the order was improperly executed. That decision would later prove to be an important one. Let's see here. The search. All right. So
they went in. They got all the stuff they wanted. Shut him down.
16 hours they searched his place. And for 9 hours he was interrogated and effectively denied right to remain silent.
Hold on. So the cops were there? Or were these the record association?
The police were there as well. The police were there, and somebody from the court, and that didn't really help because they basically could do whatever they want, and they did. Let's see, to remain silent. They denied him the right to remain silent. Non-cooperation with an Anton order amounts to contempt of court.
Hold on. How do you deny somebody the right to remain silent? I mean, do you attach something to
contempt of court?
Attach electrodes to them and shock them
we're talking about Canada, where you don't necessarily have the same rights as in the United States.
Right.
So if you're being questioned and they say you don't have a right to remain silent, you must answer this
We also have to remember this is not a criminal case. This is a civil case. Even in the United States, they can do a lot of stuff that they can't necessarily do in a criminal case.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be shocking if it wouldn't be shock me if they did something similar here in the United States. I'm sure, and they do all the time. But anyway, this is
what happens if you So what happens if to any Canadian listeners out there who know more about the Canadian system than we do, if you don't have a right to remain silent and the police are questioning you, does that mean you can just answer all the questions? I don't recall.
I do believe that you do have a right to remain silent in Canada, actually, and that's
you just said they denied him that right.
They did
illegally.
They did illegally.
I see.
So which is what's coming up. Okay, so the court stated the aim of not intimidating Lackman failed
because it sounds bad so far, right?
Right. They totally violated his rights.
He ends up turning this around.
Right. Exactly.
All right, we're going to get into that the rest of the case coming up here in moments. Our toll-free number, and if you're in Canada and you know maybe you're a little closer to the case, feel free to weigh in. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like Freedom, 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves here. This is Free Talk Live.
For P150, P150GA, P150NY, P150OK, P150TN, C250A, C250E, C250Q. Not available in all states. If New York or Colorado, call for a similar offer.
What's the scariest thing about going to the dentist? Opening your mouth or opening your wallet? Because just a simple cleaning can cost $100, and things like root canals can cost you hundreds more. If you don't have dental insurance to help, call Physicians Mutual Insurance Company, 1-800-972-1059. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps pay for checkups right away. So you can call today and get your teeth cleaned tomorrow. Plus, it helps cover the more expensive procedures you might need down the road. Fillings, crowns, bridges, even costly dentures. There's no deductible and no annual maximum. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired. There are no networks, so you can choose any dentist you'd like. Call now for a free information kit with all the details. 1-800-972-1059. That's 1-800-972-1059. 1-800-972-1059.
How did you become addicted? A friend? Were you at a party and someone said, "Hey, try this"? Then you got the cold sweats and started shaking. And the more you did it, the more it didn't work. So you switched to the needle. Now you're a train wreck. Drinking, drugging, broke. Your family hates you. And you hate you. Get out of your hell on earth now. Call the Detox and Treatment Helpline today for immediate help. In many cases, your insurance may cover the costs. We can't guarantee it, but we can guarantee we have what you need to change your life for the better. Pick up your cell phone and call right now. 855-700-2979. 855-700-2979. 855-700-2979. That's 855-700-2979.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial in toll-free and join us on the radio waves here. You can bring up anything that you'd like. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well. The Skype username here is LRN.FM. Should you wish to sign up for our weekly emails, you can do that. The email sign-up box is right there at the front page toward the top of freetalklive.com. So drop on by there and drop your email address in, and we'll keep you in the loop with what's happening with Free Talk Live. Over at freetalklive.com, you can get signed up there. With you in studio tonight, you've got Ian,
Chris,
and Darryl.
So we're talking about Kodi, which is an app, and it's also been put onto hardware devices that allow you to stream all kinds of television-related content or YouTube.
It makes it very
whatever.
easy to do.
Video from the internet, whether it's legal or illegal. There are these add-ons that you can get for Kodi. So Kodi's legal. They're not, officially acknowledging, that you can use their thing for illegal purposes, but that you can. And there's a website called TV Add-ons run out of Canada where a guy had his house raided by the Recording Industry Association, Motion Picture Association, these organization types, who...
Entertainment industry.
Yeah, the entertainment industry, who got some kind of permission from the courts in Canada to do this special search in a civil case where they get to go in and just rustle through all your stuff and take whatever it is that they think is take whatever it is they think is helpful in their case against you. And that happened. And apparently they told him he didn't have a right to remain silent during all this. Then what? Where are we at here?
So once inside, Lackman was told that he had an hour to find a lawyer, but couldn't use any electronic device to get one. Can't use a phone.
Good luck.
Throughout the entire day, Lackman says he was reminded by the plaintiff's lawyer that he could be held in contempt of court and jailed, even though he was always cooperating. I had to sit there and not leave their site. I was denied access to medication.
You can go find a lawyer as long as you don't use any internet or electronic device and don't leave our site.
Yeah, they denied access to a lawyer.
I guess
telepathy.
I guess he was probably inside, so no smoke signals. Right. Can't go get a homing pigeon. You can't send a raven. So you can find a lawyer as long as one is inside this room.
Right. This is very fair process here to this man.
TV add-ons had never been served with so much as a copyright takedown notice in advance of this action. That's just disturbing. It's like they didn't even...
Surprise.
He was operating a completely illegal site, and they didn't even use the tools at their disposal to alert him to the fact that there was something that may be infringing infringing their rights.
Huh.
And I'll put rights in quotes because I don't believe in them. But anyway, so the Anton Pillar controversy. Anton Pillar orders are only valid when passing a 3-step test, when there is a strong prima facie... I'm not sure how to pronounce that.
Prima facie.
Case against the respondent. The damage, the potential or actual, is serious for the applicant, and when there is a real possibility that evidence could be destroyed. All right, let's see here. These points. All right.
Story coming from torrentfreak.com.
So TV add-ons carried more than 1,500 add-ons, yet only 1% of those add-ons were considered to be infringing a tiny number of the overall picture. So basically, they're destroying this guy's business because a small percentage of add-ons might be, they're not even infringing because the add-ons themselves don't infringe. They're enabling people to access other sites or content that might be infringing.
The actual wording from the complaint says the defendant has made TV shows available to the public by telecommunication in a way that allows members of the public to have access to them from a place and time individually chosen by them, consequently infringing on the plaintiff's copyright.
Okay, so this is like a web browser. A web browser, you can access content that's illegal potentially too, but that doesn't make the browser illegal. And this is something similar. So
the entire internet is illegal because somebody might do something wrong.
Right. This the absurdity of this, of their logic here. Anyway,
Well, and on the other hand, I mean, I'm not defending their position, but on the just to play devil's advocate here, wouldn't they say that if you were, let's say you were a web host, right? You sell your space on your server to people who want to run websites there, and somebody rents your server and they put up some sort of illegal site. They certainly would, the government would argue that they have the right to come stop you from providing that person a service, right? So, I don't know if that quite lines up with what's happened here. They're saying that, oh, well, you're saying that your site allows all of these things on there. Well, some of them are illegal, so we're going to come in there and stop your entire service. Maybe once he cleans out the illegal stuff, they'll let him.
He didn't even refuse to take down or comply with the law, which says. So what usually happens is under a Digital Millennium Copyright Act or equivalent in Canada, is they have to send you a notice of the infringing content that is being hosted, and at that point you could take it down. You have to take it down, unless or until the person who posted that content comes back and says, no, this is not correct, or something to that effect. I own this content, or I have permission otherwise. At which point, if the person responds saying that, the person who posted the content says that, you can actually you won't be held liable if you continue to host that content.
Got it. But that didn't happen.
But that didn't even happen. So the whole destroying evidence and secret and all this other stuff is he theoretically has a legal protection under the law under Digital Millennium Copyright Act or equivalent in Canada. He should be protected as long as he complies with this body of law, basically.
Right, which he was never given the chance to do.
Right,
they just came right in and grabbed his stuff.
Exactly.
Okay.
So basically, the judge says it's important to note that the defendant was not permitted to refuse to answer questions under fear of contempt proceedings, and his counsel was not permitted to clarify the answers to questions. I conclude unhesitantly that the defendant was subjected to an examination for discovery without any of the protections normally afforded to litigants in such circumstances, the judge said. Here I would add that the questions.
So the judge saying that the people who came in there, including the police who were there to observe this whole thing, crossed the line. They should not have questioned him in the way that they did without his attorney present.
Actually, I think the police, I don't know, it's not clear if the police stayed or not, but he actually wanted the police there apparently, and that's why they showed up.
I would have too at that point.
And
because
basically I want to say the prosecutor, the prosecuting party, so to speak, basically told the police to leave. So I'm not sure if they stayed or left, but in either case, they're the ones who are responsible for violating this order.
The police are the ones responsible?
No. The
prosecution or the plaintiff.
The plaintiff. The plaintiff is
complainant or whatever they call it in civil.
The plaintiff would, I believe it would be plaintiff. So the plaintiff, the people bringing the lawsuit basically are the ones who violated the order and the law.
Right. It's a plaintiff and respondent in civil, I think, and then defendant and prosecution, I guess. What is it in criminal? Is that right?
In criminal, there's a prosecutor.
Yeah. Just thinking about the names of what they call all
generally,
these
they're both called plaintiffs.
They do call it plaintiff in criminal,
but
it's defendant in criminal and respondent, I believe, in civil. At least here in New Hampshire, I think.
Generally, yes.
All right, so there's more to what happened in the case because we haven't even gotten to that part yet. That's on the way here. You can join us as well. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Also, another civil case between a man with a billboard in our very own New Hampshire, a controversial billboard. That's still to come. Coming up here in moments. You can share your thoughts. 855-450-FREE, like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
Tyler, time to go for our family walk.
Just let me nap a little longer.
You promised we'd get more active.
I know. How come you're so ready to go?
It's Superberry's Aronia berries.
Aronia what?
Aronia berries from superberries.com. They're known for having one of the highest levels of antioxidants that helps with overall wellness.
Where'd you get them?
I ordered them from superberries.com/radio, and right now we can get a free smoothie recipe book with our order. Plus, we can save $4 at checkout.
I can't wait to try them. I'll get the dog.
I'll get the kids.
Choose health. Eat purple. Superberries.com.
If there's a toxic chemical, biological, gas, smoke emergency while traveling, at home, or on your job, are you protected? Are you prepared? There are over 400,000 fires in the USA every year. Up to 85% of all deaths in a fire are due to smoke inhalation. 3 minutes without air, and we as humans will die. Be prepared and escape safely with our Safe Escape Smoke Hoods, giving you up to 60 minutes of breathable air protection. Order yours online at ase-safety.com. That's ase-safety.com. And get up to 40% off, plus free shipping.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Money,
power, and respect are all yours at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit did your nerves spike. You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free and join us on the radio waves. Take control of the airwaves. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Sharing some interesting court cases with you here tonight. Everything from sanctuary cities to what we're discussing right now, which is internet so-called intellectual property violations. Specifically, this Kodi.tv software/device thing that allows you to...
And it's not actually the Kodi that is being alleged to have violated copyright.
No, it's just an open source app.
Someone who created a website that has add-ons for the Kodi that was being alleged as having violated copyright.
Correct. And apparently a Canadian court allowed the plaintiffs in this civil case to go into this guy's house or office and take pretty much anything they wanted to that they believed would assist with their case against him.
Here, I would add that the questions were not really questions at all. They took the form of orders or directions. For example, the defendant was told to provide to the bailiff or disclose to the plaintiff's solicitors. All right. Shockingly,
and he was afraid that if he didn't, he'd be charged with contempt of court.
That's what they told him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shockingly, interrogation of Lackman went much farther. Torrent Freak understands that TV Add-ons operator was given at least 30 names of people that might be operating sites or services similar to TV Add-ons. He was then ordered to provide all the information he had on those individuals. Of course, people tend to guard their online identities, so it's possible that information provided by Lackman will be of limited use. But Judge Bell was not happy that the Anton Pillar order was abused by the plaintiffs in this way. I conclude that those questions posed by the plaintiffs' counsel were solely made in furtherance of their investigation and constituted a hunt for further evidence as opposed to the preservation of
they were outside
evidence.
The scope.
Yeah, exactly. So the whole idea is to preserve evidence, so this is far outside the scope.
Right.
But he was only just getting started.
The judge, that is.
Yep.
Okay.
Plaintiffs unlawfully tried to destroy TV add-ons before trial. The judge went on to note that from their own mouths, the Anton Pillar order was purposely designed by the plaintiffs to completely shut down TV add-ons, despite the fact that only a tiny proportion of the add-ons available to the site were allegedly used to infringe copyright. I'm of the view that the order's true purpose was to destroy the livelihood of the defendant, deny him the financial resources to finance the defense.
Now, was this? I'm sorry, I might have missed this minor
judge.
Right, this minor detail. Is this judge the same judge who ordered the order in the first place?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Deny the financial resources to finance a defense to the claim made against him and provide an opportunity for discovery of the defendant in circumstances where none of the procedural safeguards of our civil justice system could be engaged, Judge Bell wrote. As noted, plaintiffs must also have a strong prima facie.
So this judge is surprised.
Prima facie.
This judge is surprised that people abused an order that is ripe for abuse. Right?
Yeah, this doesn't shock us, but
to allow, he wrote an order for whatever this thing was called, this special order that allows them.
The Anton Pillar.
Thank you, Anton Pillar. I should have wrote that down.
The only difference between this case and most cases is that in most cases this kind of information never gets revealed. that's
about the fact that this order exists or whatever.
The abuse of the entertainment industry against individuals, taking their private cases or suing them civilly.
But this judge is basically saying that, well, I wrote this order, but you guys didn't enforce it in the way that you should have.
There's a reason that this information is very public and this case is happening. The guy has spent about $100,000, I believe it was, already in less than like a month worth of this going on. $100,000 is a lot of money to have spent.
Yeah,
if he hadn't spent that kind of money on lawyers and stuff, there probably would be nothing here.
Good point.
He just would have been basically, yeah.
I can't imagine he's getting that kind of revenue out of this site. I mean, it just
he's
unbelievable.
probably made a lot of money off it, but not. I mean, spend $100,000, that just destroys it.
Yeah, I mean, how many donations is he really getting in? I mean, I understand that
he has. I know within like a week he was able to raise about $20,000, $25,000. I don't know what it's up to now, but they are trying to raise like I think it's like maybe $100,000 or more dollars.
Yeah, this is probably all the money he had
to continue the defense. Anyway, strong. To obtain an appellate order, but judge says he's not convinced that one exists. Instead, he praised the forthright manner of Lackman, who successfully compared the ability of Kodi add-ons to find content in the same way as Google search can. So basically, he was praising the defense.
The judge did.
Yes, and explaining what it was that he was doing and providing and stuff.
Okay.
And why it was not, why he was not, breaking any laws, basically. So why the big turnaround? The judge said that while the prima facie case may have appeared strong before the judge who heard the matter ex parte without Lackman being present to defend himself, the subsequent adversarial hearing undermined it to the point that it no longer met the threshold. As a result of these failings, Judge Bell...
So, translation... and it sounded like it may have been a different judge.
Yeah,
who approved
I
the
think
order.
it was a different judge.
Was it? Based on what you just said there.
Maybe I'm mistaken.
It sounds like the judge.
I thought it was the same judge.
It sounds like the initial judge who ordered this special order, that he was the one who did the outside of this, or he was
the Anton Pillar, which is allowed in Canadian.
So, at a minimum,
courts.
this judge did think that it was a legally issued order originally. So at a minimum,
it was legally issued originally,
right, by the original judge. That's what this judge is thinking.
But because it was ex parte, the other party had no say, and this judge is saying, "Well, now that I've actually heard from both sides, this is
and
shouldn't
seeing
go forward."
how it was executed." Yeah. And I think the execution had a lot to do with this higher judge saying, yeah, you shouldn't have been able to do that.
There's also another judge, because this is being appealed. This judge's ruling is being appealed. So there were two judges, but maybe there's even a third judge.
There will be soon enough,
As a result of these failings, Judge Bell declared the Anton Pillar order unlawful. Things didn't improve for the plaintiffs on the injunction front either. The judge said that he believes that the Lackman was an arguable case that he is not violating the Copyright Act by merely providing add-ons, and that TV add-ons is his only source of income. So if an injunction is to close the site was granted, the litigation would effectively be over, since the plaintiffs already admitted that their aim was to neutralize the platform. If the platform was neutralized, Lackman could no longer earn money from the site, which would harm his ability to mount a defense. And considering,
slow it down a little bit. You're going a little too fast, Mr. New Jersey.
In considering the balance of convenience, I also repeat that the plaintiffs admit that the vast majority of add-ons are non-infringing. Whether the remaining approximately 1% are infringing is very much up for debate. For these reasons, I find that the balance of convenience favors the defendant, and no interlocutory injunction.
Interlocutory. That means an interruption usually for an appeal.
Interruption
in the middle of a case.
Go to a higher level court.
Right. So what? No interlocutory what?
Injunction will be issued.
I see.
The judge declared. But the Anton Pillar order declared unlawful, and no interlocutory injunction, one effective until the final determination of the case, handed down. Things were about to get worse for the telecom companies. They had paid 50,000 Canadian dollars for the court security in case things went wrong. So TV add-ons was entitled to compensation from them out. This is what blows my mind. The fact that you're getting compensation for basically having your rights violated just never happens.
That's unusual.
Yeah.
Normally, it would just be like, oh, well, this judge made a mistake, and we're just going to overturn the decision.
Right,
Have a nice
but
day.
see, the difference is generally when a search warrant gets overturned in the U.S., it's the police that were executing the search warrant, not a private entity.
Right.
So
So
here it was a group of telecoms.
So you're saying because it was the police, they get a pass, but the private entities, they got to make it right.
Yes.
That's what it seems like.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah. Of course, you can never hold the government liable. All right. That would be helpful since at this point, TV add-ons has already run up $75,000 Canadian dollars in legal expenses. So there you go. I mean, right there, it's insane the amount of money that's already been spent, and this case is less than a month old.
And
it's
have they
literally
been
amount of? I believe it's probably like 2 or 3 weeks at this point.
Have they been ordered to pay the legal expenses, or only just to pay X amount of?
No, I think it's just a $50,000.
Just 50. So he's still in. He's still in.
He's already got
deep.
$25,000 minimally. Yeah,
All right, more coming up here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, and you've got more to share on this case.
I do,
right?
yeah.
All right, so we'll get into that, and you can share your thoughts with us on the idea of sharing television channels online. Should it be a crime? It's Free Talk Live.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
When I get to about 3/4, when I get down to the bottom, a couple more scoops, it's time to place my order. Dinovite.com.
Order a 90-day supply of Dinovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of NomoFlea free.
NomoFlea flea spray kills fleas safely with no poison.
Because it's a polypeptide protein molecule made from
vegetable oil.
Try NomoFlea.
Free this week at Dinovite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dinovite. DINOVITE.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-765-9681 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-765-9681. Again, that's 800-765-9681.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message.
Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people, exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial in, toll free, take control of the airwaves, bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype. You can Skype on in here at Skype username lrn.fm. And we're talking about intellectual property, which is a discussion that libertarians for a long time have had disagreements on. Because not everybody can get on board with the same understanding or what intellectual property is or shouldn't be. Or I think everyone on this show tonight is against the idea of intellectual property, but I don't want to put words in y'all's mouth. So
hey,
what do you
definitely.
say? Yes, you are definitely against it.
I'm against it, yeah.
Darryl?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Darryl is also a book publisher, so sometimes libertarians will be like, sort of against intellectual property, but in their area, they want to have the intellectual property to protect themselves.
Well, so
you're not one of those guys.
Well, you've obviously never seen the title page, if you will, where I don't have a copyright notice.
Don't you do copy heart?
Copy heart and Creative Commons.
And what is copy heart for listeners that don't know?
Copy heart is basically a statement of, we want you to share this. We don't believe in the concept that you can own an idea. Like, certainly you can come up with a thought, but once you share that thought, then other people are then exposed to that thought, and you can't claim ownership over the neurons in other people's brains.
You let it out
when
there.
they think of what you just said.
Right.
Yeah, I've certainly in a similar kind of position. Like I've raised, I've both given and raised a combination of at least $400,000 over the past couple of years alone, going towards projects that produce content, designs that are then freely made available, and somebody's got to fund those. So certainly, I have an interest in to a degree in making money off of some of this stuff too. But you don't necessarily have to have a copyright in order to do that.
Right. So let's see. So just to recap, you got this guy with a website for Kodi TV add-ons.
Yep.
And they've come after him. This Kodi TV is an app that allows for these add-ons to connect, and then these add-ons can do all kinds of things like stream you television channels that might not be strictly legal. And that's why they came after him.
They being a group of Canadian telecoms.
Right, like Bell Canada.
And they're just, and this guy, his TV add-ons guy, is basically just hosting it, right? He's not actually making the add-ons.
Correct.
So it's no different than, Apple, hosting, an add-on or an app in their app store, or Google hosting an app in their app store.
Google's probably a better example.
There is a difference, because Google and Apple, they wind up, doing some sort of certification of, this app is okay.
Apple does that, not Google. With Google, that was what I was going to clarify.
I thought there was a process to
some
where
degree, I think.
No. There's you can download download malware from the Google App Store. There's just so much stuff on there. There's no approval process on it.
There's some degree that's true for Apple too.
Apple's
looks
more
through
strict.
Everything. Apple's certainly more strict.
They have an approval process for every piece of software, as I understand.
They are more strict about it, but Google does too, to a degree. It's just Google. The difference between Google and Apple is one is very much more open about it and very limited in terms of what they'll say no to, and Apple is very, very strict about.
That's interesting because I've literally downloaded. This was years ago, but I literally downloaded an app. It was supposed to be like a. You know how they had those multi-chat apps like AOL Instant Messenger, Yahoo Messenger, like where you could just log into Pigeon is a multi-chat app, but so an app like Pigeon, but for the phone was what I was looking for. Something where I could roll everything in together. And that app was just a straight phishing app.
Yeah.
It literally stole my passwords for those.
That's true.
For those things.
But the problem is to say that they don't do any of that, any kind of censorship or a filter is wrong, because they do. I'm trying to think of what they've done. They've removed apps.
Maybe they'll remove after the fact, but that's different than an approval process.
Yeah, that may be true, but there's certainly some sort of policy still attached to.
Sure, I'm sure you're not allowed to have a phishing app, in their policies. But if they don't have an approval process, then that means anything that's in there.
I'm pretty sure they
Apple
something.
does.
No, I thought Google.
All right, I'll check it.
I'm pretty sure they
I'm not sure how
I'm pretty sure they all have some sort of approval process, even if it's just this. You can't submit copyright infringing stuff or something to that effect. Because
that's pretty amazing that a phishing app got right through their approval process. Then, because I've always been under the impression that if you go and you search their store and you start going through and you start going below like the most popular responses, you'll find all kinds of questionable stuff. So I don't buy it that there's any.
It's weak, but there is a filter, and that's going to be important in terms of holding somebody liable for it. Basically, because if there's any kind of approval process, right, they can be held liable potentially, and that's important.
Story from TechCrunch from March 2015. App submission on Google Play now reviewed by staff. Will include age-based ratings.
Amazon also has something similar in their app store. And
so new as of March is what you're saying.
Of 2015.
Even like repositories like or app stores like for Debian or like Linux distributions and things like that. Even they have some sort of filter mechanism. Even if it's not the kind of filter that is like Apple, right?
Because I know that like with Jax, which was the the official wallet of Free Talk Live. They were held back by like 17 releases on the Apple side, and of course, every release they put through on Android came out as they were.
Because it's a very weak filter, right?
Okay,
right. And the article here says the reason Google Apps review team is able to process submissions so quickly is because the system includes an automated element. So there is a little bit of a waiting period and some kind of review. It might not be the best review.
Apparently not.
But there is some kind of review process.
There's still a huge difference too between an Android device and an Apple device. An Android device, you can disable it so you can install other app stores, right? You can't do that with
F-Droid.
Right, or just install packages individually or software individually outside of the App Store.
Yeah, with Apple, you have to jailbreak the phone in order to do that.
Right. And that's not authorized, right? So they can do all sorts of bad stuff to you, and they will if you try.
If they find out that you
So let's jump back into this article real quick.
Yeah, so we're basically almost done here. On top of the judge told independent counsel to give everything seized during the Anton Pillar search back to Lachman. So basically, the judge told the plaintiff, the people suing, that they had to give everything that they seized back because they violated his rights. So, all right. So let's see. There's another part that was interesting.
And now they're appealing.
Right? And 140,000 Canadian dollars, I believe, is the number. Basically, they're being made to, because they're trying to appeal this judge's order, they have to put down another 140,000 Canadian dollars, which it sounds like they're likely to lose, not just the 50,000 that they've already put down, but another $140,000.
So they will forfeit that if they
presumably
if this is shown to have been frivolous,
right? That's what it sounds like.
Interesting.
So it sounds like because they're appealing it, and there's already been a judgment made on it by this judge. Now they're going to lose another 140,000.
So apparently, this Anton Pillar order actually goes back a ways. This isn't just a Canadian thing. The order is named after the 1975 English case of Anton Pillar KG versus Manufacturing Processes Limited, dealing with the theft of trade secrets. In England, it has been reported that approximately 500 Anton Pillar orders were granted per year between 1975 and 1980, and then during the 1990s, this rate had dropped tenfold. So apparently, Western English and English-derived legal systems. So I guess that's why it applies over in Canada.
Yeah,
right. Because Canadians are technically still part of the British Crown.
I'm pretty sure that Canada had to adopt that because they're not run by the UK like the way you're thinking. There are some.
They technically are.
Is their head of state?
Yeah, the Queen's their head of state, but it's in name only. So
they are still technically under British common law.
What could she do? I wonder. Could she reclaim the Canadian system or something like that?
The Queen gets to appoint a Governor General that can veto any legislation
from
passed
Canada
by the Canadian Parliament.
Oh, that's interesting.
And because Canada is still under the Crown, any legal ruling from the British Supreme Court technically applies everywhere in the Crown. So Canada, Australia, Jamaica, Bahamas,
So you could
Bermuda.
appeal from Canada to the British Supreme Court, in theory?
That I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder about that.
Yeah, that's more than my understanding of it. Now there are certain countries that are still under British rule essentially, and those I would believe that would be true for. But my understanding was Canada and a lot of these countries that have declared independence.
Independent in name only. They are still part of the Crown.
All right.
They are part of the realm.
So we got more court stuff coming up here with the free speech case that turned out to not be freedom of speech with a Billboard here in New Hampshire. But Chris, if there's developments in Kodi, I'm sure you'll let us know about it in the future.
Absolutely.
There's more coming up here. You can join us 855-450 free like freedom. It's Free Talk Live. Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. For an investment of as low as $129, you can have a lifetime mining contract and support the Bitcoin network. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. It's the most profitable pool for miners, paying 120% of the block reward. That's pool.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com. Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, August 11th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.07 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,286 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.2 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,535. Antiwar.com reports, faced with growing criticism of the human rights toll in the Yemen war, the Saudi Arabia-led coalition attacking the country issued a statement calling for the United Nations to assume control of the Sana'a airport, allowing flights to and from the capital city. Lack of access to the airport, which has been closed for over a year, has been a growing concern, with Yemen's health ministry suggesting that the closure of the airport likely led to the deaths of 10,000 civilians, either from importing aid or allowing patients to travel abroad brought for treatment. The Saudi naval blockade of the country has caused a humanitarian catastrophe, particularly in the country's Shiite-dominated north, as they have only one port and ships are rarely allowed to deliver aid to that port. The airport would be an important alternate supply route, though UN planes have been unable to travel there for quite some time because the lack of fuel left in Sanaa means planes that land delivering aid would not have enough fuel to make a return trip. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. UPI reports Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards on Thursday declared a state of emergency for New Orleans in the event that the state might help the city deal with flooding in the coming weeks. Governor Edwards issued the order during a midday news conference with New Orleans Mayor Mitch Landrieu. He said the declaration is retroactive, running from August 5th to September 3rd. Edwards said, "If we get the heavier expected rainfall, time will be of the essence. We're working well together. Obviously, this is a serious situation, but it is not something to be panicked about." The governor issued the order after a fire at a sewage and water board plant impeded the city's ability to handle floods. Earlier Thursday, several top city officials in New Orleans lost their jobs after a historic rainstorm caused the city to flood, despite promises that the city's pump system could handle such a deluge. Scenes eerily reminiscent of Hurricane Katrina unfolded last week in New Orleans when the rainstorm dumped upwards of 10 inches of rain in 3 hours, flooded streets, homes, and businesses. Initially, sewage and water board superintendent Joe Becker told CBS News the city's pumps were working at full capacity, but he was later forced to retract that statement. Instead, he clarified the city's pumps were working to their full potential given the number that were operational when the storm hit. Of the 121 pumps in the city, 20 were out of commission and one station worked at barely 50% capacity. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports a U.S. district judge in Austin, Texas, has rejected an effort by the state of Texas to have a law that would punish so-called sanctuary cities be declared constitutional ahead of the measure taking effect next month. The Republican-backed law is the first of its kind since Donald Trump became president in January, promising a crackdown on undocumented immigrants and localities that protect them. U.S. District Judge Sam Sparks, an appointee of former Republican President George H.W. Bush, dismissed the case without prejudice late on Wednesday. The law in question, Senate Bill 4, calls for jailing police chiefs, sheriffs, and possibly frontline officers who fail to cooperate with federal immigration officials. The measure also allows police to ask about immigration status during a lawful detention. After the law was approved in May, the state of Texas sued major urban areas including Austin, El Paso, and Houston, as well as civil rights groups, saying they backed policies of non-cooperation with federal immigration officials. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton said on Wednesday he was disappointed with the ruling on what he called an undoubtedly constitutional law. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
After briefly reviewing several documents outlining his parents' dire financial circumstances today, 23-year-old Wesleyan University graduate Zach Wallace told reporters he had, quote, absolutely no clue how his mother and father are going to dig themselves out of the $35,000 of student loan debt they incurred to pay for his college education.
I mean, this is going to be really hard on my parents. When I was in college, I just assumed that, they would pay off my student loans within a few years of me graduating. But I never realized how expensive college is going to be for them.
Wallace, who graduated with a film studies degree in 2012 and has since had 2 unpaid internships, told reporters that from the way prevailing interest rates are trending, his parents could easily be paying off his debt for the next quarter century.
They're going to be paying for the rest of their lives. And on top of it all, they have to help me out with my rent, too. I mean, it sucks. really, really sucks.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. Launching into the third hour of the program. As always, you can take control of the airwaves here. You can bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, that's 855-450-3733. Joining you in studio tonight, it's Ian,
Chris,
and Darryl.
So we've been actually focusing on some interesting court cases here tonight. Everything so far from sanctuary cities to this Kodi TV controversy of free streaming television channels. That created an interesting court case up in Canada. So if you're just tuning in and you missed those two, you can always go and grab our podcast or our archive later on over at freetalklive.com when that's available. But let's go to your calls and thoughts. Then coming up, what a on its face appeared to be a freedom of speech case, but was it? Well, it was about a billboard out inside of one guy's business here in New Hampshire that a lot of people were offended by. Let's go first, though, to Ralph in New Jersey. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Ralph.
Yes, hello, and good evening to Wolfman. Good evening to your wife, Guilty, and good evening to Chris. Now,
why is Chris the only one you actually use a name for?
Well, I am not sure what Chris is, so let's just put.
Who's Wolfman? Is that you, Darryl?
Yes. Because I used to have the long, shaggy hair, and he thinks that we don't change.
He's hungry like a wolf. That's great. It's karaoke night with Ralph.
Yeah, the Detroit and then the Noah Riot.
So do you do karaoke when you're drunk? Do you get drunk, Ralph?
Yeah, I wonder if that...
No, I do not get that. I do not. I'm a teetotaler.
He's wow. Teetotaler. A teetotaler?
Another inhale cigarette or imbibe a drink.
So you're straight edge.
Going back to El Negro. And
you just never stop, do you? I mean, you can't talk about anything else. Here we are trying to have a conversation about, inebriation, karaoke, stuff people can relate to, but you always want to bring it back to racism or race. Go ahead.
The racism, yeah.
Because you're obsessed. You are obsessed with hating black people, aren't you?
Ever heard him not talk about race on the show?
You're right about that. Yeah. Every call.
The Detroit and the Noah Riot definitely has an influence on Obama.
The who?
The Detroit and
Druids?
You see how
what are you saying?
Like you didn't hear anything. Okay, let me say again what I said. And
what had an influence on Obama?
The Detroit and the Noah Riot.
I can't make it out. I can't figure it out. You guys are all shaking your head. You don't.
No idea.
You don't know. I'm sorry, Ralph. If we can't understand you.
Let me also say this.
Why don't you call on Skype, huh?
He comes of age in the Detroit Noah Riot.
Detroit?
The Detroit.
You're saying Detroit? Okay.
Wow.
At first, I thought it was Druids, and I'm like, what?
He just has a really thick accent.
Yeah, he does. He's very thick. Philippines.
Yeah.
Now, he comes of age in the Detroit Noah Riot, and
I still can't figure out the second one. Oh, fire? Something about fire? Detroit's on fire?
Newark and Detroit.
Newark and Detroit.
Newark.
Detroit.
New Jersey.
You know that place.
Yeah. And the riots that happened there 50 years ago.
50? Okay. So that's what you're calling about. There was the movie that just came out about the Detroit riots, right?
There's a movie about Detroit, right, but never about Newark. There's an archive full of that one, that you can glean over from YouTube as far as the.
So what's your point? Why are you bringing this up? 50-year-old riots.
Well, it definitely have an influence on Obama. Obama came of age, during those times because what happened in Baltimore? What happened in Baltimore? Now we're talking, right? What happened in Baltimore?
When? 50 years ago?
Are you talking about a couple of years ago when the police threw Freddie Gray in the back of the van and gave him the nickel ride, broke his neck?
That's got
right. And that wasn't a teachable moment. You know, we never learned the lesson from that. It happened under the watch of El Capo Animal.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Well,
I just can't believe we're still talking about Obama
Thanks
here.
for the call tonight. I appreciate it. Get Skype. My God, it would be so much easier to understand him if he would actually.
No, it wouldn't.
No,
it would be.
I don't think so.
It would be.
His accent is so thick, is what it is.
It would be thick.
It's nothing to do with
but
that.
a higher resolution sound would make it easier to understand. It absolutely
doubtful.
would. We used to have a guy call in with a super thick Scottish accent. He was a cabbie from Scotland, and he would call in, and it was so hard to understand him on the phone. And I finally got him to call in on Skype, and it was like night and day. The difference was so much easier. Was
easier. Was that a result of the call quality being?
Yes, the resolution of the voice. You can hear a larger.
Ralph's voice is not terrible. The call quality of that wasn't terrible.
Yes, it is. It's a phone. If you compare a phone,
really, you thought that was terrible?
Phones sound
I didn't
terrible.
think it was that terrible at all.
For a phone, it's fine. Phones have a restricted range of audio that they can transmit.
I agree with you. I just don't.
You can't ever hear any
I just
bass.
don't think it was hard to understand him because of the phone. It was.
I'm telling you, if he got on Telegram or Skype or anything else where it upgrades the audio quality, the quality of the actual audio being transmitted. They have a new thing that they're, as I understand it, behind the scenes, the telecommunications providers are supposedly working with something called HD Voice as phone systems switch over from the legacy old twisted pair copper wires, plain old telephone system into a newer voice over IP.
Mm-hmm.
We're hopefully going to see more upgraded call quality start to happen.
Oh, that would be great.
But right now, the phone network has to be legacy compatible, and so everybody's phone calls sound like they're on a phone, even though he's on a device that's capable of sounding so much better. Which is why when you do Telegram or Skype, these audio transmission codecs are very, very good, and they just sound so much better.
Actually, the reason the call quality is usually pretty much garbage. It's I don't think it's because of the POS plain old.
It is because the old phone specifications. Plain old telephone system.
Yeah, plain old telephone system.
The old phone specifications literally just lop off certain frequency ranges that they just don't transmit.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. But I know
you can hear it. I mean, it's true.
So I know as far as cellular phones, there's dynamic. There's this dynamic. I forget what it's called, but it's basically there's this dynamic thing where it basically reduces the bandwidth, and the less bandwidth they use. Basically the worse the call is, the less bandwidth they use. So that's why the calls sound so horrible now. It's not so much the plain old telephone system that's the problem. Is a plain old telephone system, it still sounds reasonably decent.
Well, yeah, if you're comparing it to phones, I mean, because if the plain old telephone system, I don't know. I mean, we're not going to go much further with this discussion because it's just my opinion versus yours. I can pull up the specifications, I'm sure, to find them for you. But the reason why everybody sounds so tinny when they're on the phone is because the old system specifications do not allow for the transmission of certain frequency ranges. The human voice, when you're listening to somebody, the human voice can only go so high. So like the human ear can hear up to like 20,000, I believe, hertz is I believe the maximum. Young people, teenagers and younger tend to be able to hear like 20 to 22,000, and then over time as we get older, our hearing comes down and it goes like below 20,000, I think, to like 18 or something like that. There's a certain range. So that's why, like in what do they have that? There's some sort of device that can only be heard by teenagers, basically. So if you want to scatter a bunch of young people out of an area, like the mall or something like that, you just turn this sound device on, and they can hear it, but the other customers can't.
This kind of reminds me of like the difference between being adequate and being like really good, right? Like, and then there's the terrible stuff, and the cellular phones are terrible.
Cellular phones can be terrible, and that has to do with.
But as far as
bandwidth.
Plain old telephone lines, I don't think they're terrible.
I didn't say they were terrible.
I mean, I think they're decent. I think they're adequate.
You can hear what they're adequate. You can understand what most people are saying.
Yeah.
But they're not great. It's not
I wouldn't say they're
high
great,
quality.
but no,
it's not even the full range of the human voice. It's a fraction of the range of the human voice. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
That might be. Yeah,
I
don't know. I don't know.
It's a definite thing.
Well, I'm saying I don't know
right.
is what I'm saying.
I'm the audio guy here, right? We're coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
Yeah, absolutely.
Warning. If you've recently declared bankruptcy, you're going to want to cover your ears, because there's an alternative to bankruptcy, and it could be better than you'd ever think possible. But if you've already declared bankruptcy and have missed this opportunity, you'll want to cover your ears now. Here it is. Right now, the company that has resolved more credit card debt than anyone in the U.S. may be able to settle your debt too. You could resolve your debt with one low monthly program payment. If you call right now and qualify, Freedom Debt Relief will show you how low your monthly program payment could be for free. Call now, 1-800-660-1581. That's 1-800-660-1581. If you're struggling with debt, this could be your answer. And the bigger your debt, the more money you could save. To find out for free how much of your hard-earned money Freedom Debt Relief could help you save, call now. 1-800-660-1581. 1-800-660-1581. 1-800-660-1581.
BuySellMakeOffer.com is better than ever. I'm Pat Matthews, here to tell you that BuySellMakeOffer.com, the revolutionary site for buying and selling anything and everything, just upped the ante. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and click the Sign Me Up button. When you do, you'll get the first month free, and then it's just $9.95 a month to be a member forever. And you don't need a credit card for the initial setup. Create your own store on the site and sell whatever you want, as long as it's legal, however you want, and sell an unlimited number of items. Create your own intro video to describe what your store is all about. Use Skype to see who you're buying from or selling to. Sell unused household items, as well as antiques, cars, televisions, collectibles, real estate. The possibilities are unlimited. Use social networks to promote your store right from our site. Remember, there are never any fees, no matter how much you sell. Become a member today. I'm a member. Get all your friends to sign up, too. This could become a great business for you. Sell whatever you want for the first 30 days, free at BuySellMakeOffer.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. All right, we're going to settle the argument here. I pulled up a story about HD voice, which is the technology that I was mentioning. This is one of those things that the average person doesn't even know anything about, but we'll tell you a little bit about it coming up here. And then the court case of the controversial sign out in Manchester, New Hampshire. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian,
Chris,
and Darryl. And can we even say what was on the sign? Because I know some of
different
those
things.
signs.
It's one of those electronic
had
ones.
Foul language.
Yeah, there was an S word on there at one point when it first started to make the news. He put the S word on his sign, but it's an electronic board, so he can put different things up over time. We'll tell you about that coming up here. Bitcoin.com. You go there, you get the latest about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency through their news section. Or if you're brand new to Bitcoin, you can go to Bitcoin.com to learn the basics about Bitcoin. If you don't know really what Bitcoin is, the amazing decentralized cryptocurrency that it is, you can learn that over at Bitcoin.com. Get started with your first Bitcoin wallet. And I would say you want to get started sooner rather than later. Bitcoin's on a tear recently. It was at a new high of over $3,700 per Bitcoin today.
I was seeing 38.
Yep, it was definitely flirting with that number on some exchanges. I don't know what the high over at Bitcoin Average was, but wow, just an incredible day for Bitcoin. You can go again and learn more at Bitcoin.com. And if you want to get involved in mining Bitcoin, then just go to pool.bitcoin.com. You can get signed up there, and you don't have to worry about actually knowing how to mine. You just have to know how to transfer some Bitcoin from one point to another so you can invest in some Bitcoin mining over at pool.bitcoin.com. That way you don't have to worry about upgrading and hassles of programming. You don't have to worry about settings and all the the technical aspects of doing mining. You just have to put a little bit of money in. You can easily use their calculator there to get some idea of what you could earn over at pool.bitcoin.com. And you get to choose. Do you want to mine the old Bitcoin legacy chain, or do you want to do the brand new Bitcoin Cash? It's up to you over at pool.bitcoin.com. Let's go to your calls here in a moment. But I wanted to just share real quick the HD voice. We're putting this controversy to rest. This from Gizmodo.com. As people increasingly abandon voice calling for texting and emailing, audio quality has been a bit neglected. But Sprint's debut, and this is from 2012, so this is not brand new technology here. Sprint's debut of the HD voice compatible Evo 4G LTE signals that carriers are starting to kick the quality up a notch. The jump from your current phone to HD voice is like switching from dial-up to DSL. But what is it exactly? Well, HD voice is a wide-band audio technology. Normally, calls on phones are transmitted on a limited frequency of about 300 hertz to 3.4 kilohertz. But HD voice is a wide-band audio technology, expanding that range down to 50 hertz and all the way up to 7 kilohertz. Now, as I mentioned before, the human voice tends to go no higher in frequency range than around 7 kilohertz. So this new HD voice spec will allow basically the full range of the human voice to be heard over phone calls that support the HD voice, whereas with the old phone systems that we grew up with, plain old telephone systems, which are still the majority of what you're going to hear on a phone call today, it basically cut the human voice range in half or less. For those of you, it says here the larger frequency range essentially means that more sound waves and speech data can be squeezed onto a single channel, with the excess information stripped out, resulting in clearer calls. And that's because now that we do have codecs for encoding information that are very efficient, you can put a very high-quality call of, as far as the frequency range that you hear, in a very small stream of data these days. Now, whether that data ends up getting passed to the other listener is another question, and that's where you were complaining about the cell phone networks dropping packets and making it so it sounds terrible when you're on a low cell phone signel.
Yeah.
But that has to do with the packets being lost and not the actual quality of the audio that should be there.
My understanding is it's actually they're compressing it too much, actually, and that's what's causing the problem in some
Could
cases.
very well be. For those of you into the nitty-gritty, the standard for wideband audio established by the International Telecommunications Union in 1988 is called G.722. achieved through a speech compression algorithm called AMRWB. This provides for extended frequency of audio calls. This speech codec was originally developed by Nokia and VoiceAge. Now, if you've ever participated in a conference call, you know how confusing it can be. It's hard to tell who's talking, background noise interrupts constantly, and statements are misunderstood or lost in the shuffle. I've definitely experienced that on conference calls before. However, wideband audio makes sound clearer and crisper. The voice of the speaker is more recognizable. Accents are more readily deciphered, which is what I was trying to explain earlier with Ralph. Superfluous noise is cut out, and it's easier to hear people talking over one another. HD voice has started to pop up on voice over IP through the emphasis, or though the emphasis is, of course, on the video side. Skype, for example, employs HD voice through an audio codec called Silk. And then it goes on to talk about Sprint's phone. But that gives you a little bit of information about what is going to be, I'm sure, a long transition from this old system to a newer, better sounding system. So it is happening, and if you make a deliberate point of using other codecs to call people these days, like Skype, but Skype's bad because Microsoft is, kind of evil and they work with the NSA. We use Skype here because it's popular, not because we support it or they're an advertiser or anything like that. But man, I've done some Telegram calls recently, and I've been really impressed with how those sound. Frequently on Signal, I'm not so happy with the quality. There's a lot of dropouts and kind of crappy connection quality with Signal calls.
But the difference between Signal and Telegram, and not to go too far afield here, is Signal is much more secure than Telegram.
Supposedly, yeah. I don't know if there's any encryption on the Telegram calls, but again, if you don't trust the Telegram company, I wouldn't use any of these methods for a secret phone call. I wouldn't trust Signal. I wouldn't trust Telegram. I wouldn't, it's better than nothing. It's better than just an open call because then your cell phone company can record it. But the phone company, at the very least, if you're using Telegram or Signal, should not be able to monitor your calls. Telegram, the corporation, may be able to monitor your calls in Russia. I'm not sure what level of control they have on that.
What I meant when I said that the Signal call is more secure is Signal does not keep the metadata. So, and they've been asked to hand over metadata before, and they're like, we got nothing other than, this telephone number either does or does not have an account, but they don't keep any of the metadata.
Okay.
And that's really where a lot of the
that's like who you called when
you called, how long was the call, when did you call, and if you have metadata on somebody for a long enough period of time, you can put together a lot clearer picture than if you have content of 1/5 of their calls.
By the way, and just to be clear, the Telegram folks also have not turned over user data. The Russian government came after them recently and demanded information about them. They only gave them basic information about what Telegram is, essentially, and did not give them any information about their users. So, again, yes, Signal is supposedly much more secure than Telegram, but either one of those methods is not using your phone company for the audio transmission. It's using other digital methods that sort of route around all that.
And there's also SIP.
SIP, that's a lot more complicated to get set up, but there is that. More coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live.
At Humalife, we believe your health is your wealth. That's why we offer an exclusive, potent, and pure selection of OMRI-certified 100% organic humic and fulvic acid concentrates. These two acids stop viruses and harmful bacteria and increase frequency, vibration, and vitality. In fact, they're called the missing link to your health. Pure liquid organic ATP energy rebuilds and regrows the immune system. You are the doctor at Humalife. You know best because you are the test. Find out more at humalifeusa.com. That's humalifeusa.com.
Welcome aboard. Your new science fiction adventure is ready to launch. Discover an amazing journey at galaxyquestbooks.com. Start a new sci-fi adventure with the Guardian series, a classic sci-fi mystery that starts 500 years in the future. From author D. Arthur Gussner. Series available from Barnes & Noble or Amazon as paperback or ebooks. galaxyquestbooks.com, where the adventure begins.
this is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free. Join us on the radio. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. 855-450-3733. We do have Skype. Should you wish to, you can call us there and talk about anything that happens to be on your mind. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Chris,
and Darryl.
All right, let's go to your calls and thoughts. Stefan is in Ohio on Skype. Go ahead, Stefan.
Hey, guys. My local county coordinator for the Libertarian Party is a vegan, and his argument is that he thinks the non-aggression principle should apply to animals as well. What do you think of that?
Well, I think that he can believe what he wants to believe. I don't necessarily agree.
Why? Animals are cute. You don't want to hurt an animal, do you, Darryl?
I don't want to hurt an animal, and by that I mean I'm not just gonna run around kicking bunny rabbits and birds.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
if you want a delicious hamburger, there's only one way to get it.
Right, and you don't, go out and flog the cow every day.
Right.
So, you can kill an animal without hurting the animal constantly.
But
if that makes any sense.
And you can't do that with humans?
But your friend Stefan is saying that's something he would oppose. He doesn't want animals to be killed either, presumably, because that would be aggression.
I'm simply repeating what my local LP official said. That's just what I heard. Now, my opinion is, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence.
Is it an electric fence?
No, it's just that like a part of me feels like it's wrong that we, herd these animals up and then kill them and then eat them, because that is, that's a very brazen thing to do in my opinion. But at the same time, I really, really, really like bacon. So what are you gonna do?
Go ahead, Chris.
So I have a thought on this. I don't think that a non-aggression principle really has anything to do with this. It's kind of specific. But I think there is another issue of whether or not we should be killing animals and things. And I don't know. I think it's kind of like one of those things where it's wrong probably, but at the same time I'm going to continue to eat my bacon.
Okay, so here's the issue I want to respond to this. The non-aggression principle is a principle that we would like to see applied between human beings, meaning that humans should agree that we should not aggress against one another, that you should be allowed to live your life how you want so long as you don't harm anybody else in the process. That's basically the non-aggression principle. The reason why it doesn't apply to animals is because they cannot reciprocate.
Right.
So the animal, if they felt like it, is gonna bite you, or they're gonna if you they may attack you. They may be small, like the cat here in the studio. He will claw you, but he's probably not going to kill you. But technically, that's aggression, right? Like animals don't have the ability at this point. We don't have the ability to communicate with. Maybe at some point it will be possible to communicate with animals like dolphins, or to some extent. Chimpanzees.
Stefan said Coco, and there are some examples of certain individual animals, whether it be an orangutan or a gorilla or some other primate that learns to communicate to some extent. And I definitely I'm not going to go kill Coco the gorilla to make a gorilla burger. And at the same time, there are certain animals that, do have sort of like higher brain functions, if you will.
But does that mean they can understand concepts? I mean, if they can't understand concepts, and that's the whole thing.
I draw the line.
If you can't understand a concept,
I draw the line at sentience.
Mm-hmm.
So I would even go one step further where you said the non-aggression principle applies to humans. I would say to sentient beings, because there's always the possibility that there's something as smart as us that can comprehend act on instinct.
If it can agree, if it can say yes, we will also respect the non-aggression principle. Then I would say it should be granted to them as well.
Yeah, that seems a reasonable stance.
I'm going to respond to Darryl. Darryl, you said that it wouldn't be right to go around kicking bunny rabbits, but how is kicking a bunny rabbit going to be different than shooting the bunny rabbit? The difference is that the bunny rabbit is now going to be dead instead of just being kicked. You don't think that's violent?
What? Of course it's violent.
It is violent, and I think that if you kill an animal, you should eat the animal. If you just go around randomly killing animals, then you're an absolutely horrible, despicable human being.
Right.
So you don't agree with trophy hunting or anything like that?
That's correct. I do not agree with trophy hunting unless the animal is eaten.
But this has nothing to do with the principle.
I had just brought up what my local coordinator had said. It seems we did diverge a little bit.
So, no, the non-aggression principle should not apply to animals, but that's not to say that people should be abusive towards animals. There's a large, difference there.
You can be a jerk and still agree with there's a lot of people who agree with the non-aggression principle and are jerks.
Right?
I think there are a lot of people that claim to agree with the non-aggression principle that are just complete jerks.
I think there's people who actually abide by the non-aggression principle
and are complete jerks.
jerks.
I agree, because the non-aggression principle is not anything more than one aspect of how humans should interact with one another. People should interact with one another, treat each other with respect, be kind in general, hopefully be generous as well. But none of those things are covered by the non-aggression principle. Right. All the non-aggression principle says is don't hit somebody else. Basically,
no, it
don't
says
threaten
don't
them.
aggress, and you can commit an act of aggression without physically touching someone.
Yes, I understand that. Like by sealing their
that's broad.
Stuff.
That's very broad, though.
It is very broad, but the CIA tortures people that are not actually being physically touched. So
that's
sleep
true.
deprivation to where they're playing loud music constantly.
Lights on all the time.
Shining lights in
violence.
their eyes.
I would call that violence still.
That's aggression.
I think I don't like the use of the word aggression, but because that can be very broad and encompass things that is not really violent. And I think what I would be talking about is violence. And I think, somebody playing loud music so you can't sleep. Well, one, you're kidnapped, right? You're being prevented from leaving. So that's right there an issue. And two,
well, even if it's just your neighbor cranking the tunes in the middle of the night, those are still sound waves that are hitting your property in an unwanted
Is that aggression?
manner. And you could argue that it is.
I would say that even to a certain level is violence.
If it's certainly if it's damaging your hearing, it definitely is.
I think
they must have loudspeakers.
Yeah,
that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, right? I mean, there's degrees in everything. I mean,
right. Now, obviously, the best way to deal with a situation like that is to have a homeowner's covenant where you guys have agreed to not crank music at 3 a.m. or whatever, because that's what you've agreed to, and then you've got a contract violation in that particular case.
Or just discuss it with your neighbor. Use your reasoning power to get them to turn down the tunes.
But the point is, you can be a total a-hole while I agree with you, Chris, while respecting the non-aggression principle. And there are a lot of different ways to do that. There's been plenty of them that have come here to New Hampshire. Plenty of real life examples of a-holes who haven't violated the non-aggression principle. In fact, somebody just brought up remember the Damon and Ashley characters that showed up here a couple years ago?
Yeah, vaguely.
They came here and just basically, were as obnoxious and rude as they could possibly be, and still kind of like leaning back on the whole, well, I'm not touching you, one of those kind of things, and we ran them out of town.
There was also, like arguable trespass at a club in Manchester.
Yeah, there was something that happened out. I forget all the details about what happened there, but these guys were not really, good people at all, but they were trying to act like they were principled people. Anyway, Stefan, anything else you want to bring up tonight?
No, that's all. Thanks for taking my call, guys.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate the discussion, because it is an interesting discussion, the idea of animal rights. I think there are people who understandably feel very, very passionately about the issue of abusing animals, and I can understand why somebody would want to extend the same level of protections or rights to an animal that they care about.
This is an issue of what we should do and whether or not we should mandate it by law or regulate it. And I think mandating by law or regulating ends up violating our rights.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's the problem I have with it.
But then there's also the question of, well, should you even eat plants? Because plants can feel pain. There have been studies that show that plants feel pain.
You should be a breatharian then, I guess.
Just become a breatharian. But that's violating the rights of the oxygen minerals in the air or something.
Commit seppuku. More coming up. Free Talk Live.
If you're a sleep apnea sufferer who's on the go, go to your phone. Because if you give us a call right now, you'll be able to try the world's first portable mini CPAP device absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights. It's the Transcend Mini CPAP, an engineering marvel that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. Its unique design is so small and so light, you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. No more dragging around a big, bulky CPAP. Even better, now you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights by calling minicpap.com, 1-800-768-3138. Transcend is FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. You can also add a battery pack that's as tiny as a deck of cards. So now you can enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. But don't wait. To receive your 10-night in-home trial, call minicpap.com now, 1-800-768-3138. That's 1-800-768-3138.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, years, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-774-3149 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-774-3149. Again, that's 800-774-3149.
While getting drinks after work with a group of coworkers, local shipping clerk Russell Chambliss told reporters Wednesday night he was unsure whether he was bonding with his male associates or being mercilessly bullied by them.
I'm pretty sure that Bill called me limp dick earlier, and Todd keeps punching me in the shoulder. Pretty hard, too. I can't tell if it's their way of letting me feel like I'm part of the group or making me feel bad about myself.
Chambliss said while his coworkers verbally demeaned him and even made him feel physically threatened at various points in the evening, they did so with large smiles on their faces, making it extremely unclear if his coworkers enjoyed his company or wanted him to leave the bar.
Well, I told Jeff about this problem that I was having with my girlfriend, and he called me a pussy and then walked away. But then, like 5 minutes later, he came back with a beer that he had bought for me. What does that even mean? Apparently I'm invited over to Todd's house for dinner this weekend. I guess that'll be fun.
For more on this story, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Ovaltine. Give your kids the nutrition they need to be their best. Visit us at ovaltineusa.com. Telling your child about healthy food choices is important, but showing her what to eat goes a lot further. Have her help create the grocery list, then bring her to the store with you. Picking out healthy foods together helps kids get in the habit of thinking about what they're eating every day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial in toll free, take control of the airwaves, bring up anything you want right here. Our number, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. 855-450-3733. Moments remain. There's enough time for you if you join us here right now. And don't forget to check out Chris on his website, thinkpenguin.com. Well, you don't actually get to see any of Chris there, but at least I don't think you are.
There's an about page that mentions my name, I think.
Is
That's
it?
about
Okay,
it.
okay, yeah. It's a hardware website where you can buy some
computers and stuff.
Privacy-oriented computers and other related devices.
Yeah, I sell Linux hardware, basically. Accessories
and the very cool Wi-Fi routers that are actually routers that route all of your internet connection, every device on your local area network, your LAN, all of those devices get routed over the internet through a VPN.
Right. Yep.
With this router, and that's been very popular because it's really affordable.
Oh yeah, it's $40 for the device itself, and then you can get a subscription for however long you want.
And then you can hook it up to a switch, right, to do non-wired or to do wired.
You can do wired or wireless. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. We actually offer a switch with it now too, so you can
perfect.
You can add as many hardwired devices to this.
I love it. Check it out over at thinkpenguin.com. Let's go to Sarah on the line here, and then we'll get to the offensive Billboard case. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes. We've been hearing that the U.S. is going to do sanctions on Russia and North Korea, and they're going to do sanctions in Venezuela, like they're already starving. And they've always did sanctions against Cuba and Iraq. So all of these socialist communist countries, they starved them, they choked them out, and then they blamed the communist system. That was your argument. You always blamed that Venezuela was failing because of the communist system, not because of the sanctions.
So, the sanctions, look, I agree with you as far as sanctions. I think they're a terrible thing, and I don't think that sanctions should ever happen. So I'm against sanctions, but it is absolutely because of socialism is why Venezuela is an abject failure and in just devastating poverty and crime. I mean, that's absolutely the case.
And the sanctions certainly don't help things.
Yeah. And as Darryl, I think, pointed out to you last night when you called the show, Sarah, because you don't actually listen to Free Talk Live, and we let you call in anyway because, well, we're an open phone show, and we've never really created a rule saying you have to listen. But because you don't actually listen to the show besides when you're on hold with the show, you have no idea that we're against sanctions. You have no idea of all
we actually talked quite a bit about how horrible sanctions are.
We have, and we've also talked quite a bit about Venezuela on this show and explained in great detail, which we're not going to go into now since you again, won't bother listening to the regular shows. We're not going to repeat ourselves for your benefit here. But we've done in-depth discussions about Venezuela and why things are the way they are. Now, I agree, sanctions should not be imposed. People in Venezuela should be able to trade with whoever they want around the globe. People in the U.S. should be able to trade with whoever they want around the globe, and the government should have no say on it. So, I'd recommend you do, Sarah, is go to freetalklive.com and actually listen to the show before you actually comment on what we believe and what we don't.
You know what? But that's your opinion. I believe that these sanctions are the majority of the reasons why these communist countries fail.
Well, you are wrong. Thank you for the call tonight. Toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Look, when a country, a government, starts nationalizing industry, it is not a good sign. That's going to lead to failures because whenever the government takes over a business, the government doesn't have the ability to run that business in a way that will keep it profitable because it doesn't have the same incentives. It doesn't have the market signals that it needs to be able to make the decisions it needs to make to compete in a marketplace. So with Venezuela, and again, this has nothing to do with sanctions. With Venezuela, they ran hundreds of businesses into the ground that they have nationalized over the years. They, of course, have forced this ridiculous exchange rate upon their people, which, of course, has just decimated the economy over there. And it's just too detailed a topic for us to even do any kind of justice in the next 5 minutes.
And let's give an example of something that the U.S. government took over. In the U.S., the Internal Revenue Service took over a brothel.
Oh, no.
The Mustang Ranch. And they were not able to make a profit. It's pretty bad.
When you can't sell sex.
When you can't sell sex.
Yeah, I mean, that sells itself. So I don't know what they did there. I don't know what kind of women they hired to, or how they promote. I mean, it would be interesting to hear the details on just how that went south. How that, the construction of that failure, essentially.
The Mustang Ranch, and it was forfeited because of some back taxes, and U.S. government took it over and wound up going out of business with it.
Well, there's some stuff you could say about that, but you can't say it all on the radio. The U.S. government's brothel. Normally, we F you. Now, you can F us. If you pay the right price. All right, so Manchester, New Hampshire, story from the Union Leader. A judge has granted an injunction prohibiting Mortgage Specialists Incorporated owner Michael Gill from displaying outside his office words or images not related to his business. Superior Court Judge Amy Messer issued the ruling Tuesday, deciding in favor of the majority owner of the commercial condominium that is home to Mortgage Specialists near the South Willow Street interchange. David Goldstein, principal owner of Martin's Management Associates, said Gill's controversial messages accusing business and political leaders of corruption, drug dealing, and other crimes were affecting his business at Melody Mall, which is the property where Gill owns the Mortgage Specialist offices. Goldstein leases out the other 2 units in the building. Goldstein said the posts, the subject of at least 2 defamation lawsuits, are prohibited under the Melody Mall bylaws. Messer wrote in her decision that the purchase and sale agreement under which Gill purchased the unit expressly stated that the property was subject to the condo bylaws. So basically what you have is a situation here where this guy was saying, well, this is my free speech. on this billboard, but the condo owner says, you're under an agreement that says you can't do that.
This is a private. This is actually a violation of a private contract, not necessarily government. So that's
correct.
That's not necessarily as big of a problem as if the government was coming in and saying you can't do this outside. Just
right. If he had his own property with his own billboard, then he would have had a case. And he's claiming free speech, claiming it's protected under the First Amendment. But clearly, this guy doesn't understand that the First Amendment only protects your speech on your own property
from government
and from the government and on public property.
Yes. Right. And the problem is he agreed to something outside of government, and that's where the problem came in.
Messer, whose order gives Gill 72 hours to remove any words or images not related to mortgage specialist business, disagreed with Gill's assertion that stopping him from posting the messages would be harmful to the public interest. Gill has also taken his messages to social media, his former radio show, as well as blogs and his own website. Quote, indeed, given his testimony as to the issue, it appears Mr. Gill has been more than successful in apprising the public of his message through various social media platforms, wrote the judge. Gill did not immediately return a message seeking content, and the signs outside of mortgage specialists were still displaying the messages on Wednesday. So, again, he had 72 hours to take them down, which would mean that they probably should have been down sometime today. So I haven't seen an update on the story in April, but presumably if he doesn't, he'll be in contempt of court, and that will not be
I'm more
fun.
interested in is what's the penalty for violating the contract? It should stipulate it within the contract, and if it doesn't, then...
Well, I don't know. It's a good question.
I mean, how can the government impose something on you that you didn't agree to?
Well, the government is presumably just enforcing the contract at this point.
Sure,
if the contract
doesn't stipulate a penalty, then government can't.
Well, frequently the penalty would be we can cancel our terms of we can cancel the contract. Like if you violate the contract, then bye-bye.
But then didn't they say they own the property as opposed to they would be forced to sell? I guess
he might be forced to sell.
Okay.
He bought some sort of condominium where he's still under the rules of this condominium association.
Right. So he might be forced to sell.
So let's see here. I guess in April, Superior Court Justice Tucker granted a motion allowing a developer and an auto dealer to file a $12 million lien against property owned by Gill in a defamation lawsuit that they brought against the mortgage broker. The three filed a civil suit in 2016 over statements from Gill alleging they were involved in running illegal drug and gun selling operations. Also in April, Superior Court Judge Delker granted an injunction and ordered Gill to stop accusing Manchester attorney Alex Walker of being an attempted murderer and to remove any such claims from the mortgage specialist's signs. And that, of course, gets into the question of, well, do you have the right to just say anything you want about somebody else under freedom of speech, even if that thing is false?
There might be an argument to the effect of government shouldn't be able to enforce a contract that is that takes away somebody's freedom of speech. That could be an issue. But
I wish we had more time to talk about it, but there it is. We'll put the link up to the story on our Facebook and Twitter for those of you who'd like to see it for yourself. And between now and tomorrow night, you can join us online. In the meantime, just head on over to freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen